They average over 55,000 here at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa. Today, the Iowa State Cyclones play host to the 19th-ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys. Said at the top, this was a great day for football. It is windy. Late October here in Ames, Iowa, 42 degrees, a northwest wind at 20 miles per hour. The wind chill is 34, and it does feel every bit of that.
It almost feels like it could snow. It feels like that. The field is phenomenal. It is the best grass field I've seen in college football this year.
Oklahoma State leads the series that dates all the way back to the Big 8 days, 1926, 26, 18, and 3. Last year in Stillwater, Oklahoma State defeated Iowa State 31-10. As we noted earlier, what happened here 2 years ago was Iowa State in double overtime, winning it 37-31, knocking off the then second-ranked Cowboys. That's Kip Smith getting ready to kick off. A transfer from UCLA, a junior from Brookfield, Colorado. He also handles the punting duties, and he puts this one with the wind at his back through the back of the end zone. As we tell you, the Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff players to watch for Iowa State's offense and Oklahoma State's defense.
Well, Aaron Wimberly is the running back right now. He leads the team in rushing, and they've got to get him going. They're a running team. And then Farniak is their most experienced lineman. He's their center. And then Sean Lewis is their every down linebacker for Oklahoma State. And Justin Gilbert is having a great season at corner. He's down there at the bottom of the screen right now, locked up. You'll see a lot of press man coverage from him today.
Iowa State going into the wind here in the first quarter. After the touchback kickoff by Kip Smith from their own 25-yard line with tight end E.J. Bibbs in motion. They will sweep this to the left side and a big hit at the 25-yard line as Seantrell Johnson gets pounded by Caleb Levy. Sam Richardson is the quarterback. He's from Winter Park, Florida. A sophomore this year. He's completed 57% of his passes en route to throwing for 1,255 yards. Seantrell Johnson ran for 2 on the first play of the game. The trip set to the right. There's one receiver to the left. And Richardson gets the ball out quickly through the hands of E.J. Bibbs, a tight end, a junior from Chicago, who's got 17 balls this year.
Yeah, and he's got to catch that ball. I mean, this is an offense that has struggled in the last 2 weeks. They've had 19 drives in the last 2 weeks against Texas Tech and Baylor where they didn't get a first down, and that would have really helped them on that throw. Be able to bring that ball in. Seantrell Johnson, a little bit of a surprise starting at tailback for the Cyclones today.
Johnson had a 120-yard rushing day against Tulsa last season in the opener here at Jack Trice Stadium. The third down and 8 snap as Richardson throws, and Shamil Gary on the pass breakup. They were looking for Jarvis West. They want pass interference here. The crowd does at Ames. They won't get that call.
Well, they've got experienced safeties here for Oklahoma State. Gary along with Lowe, 2 of their best defenders. And here it is right here. I mean, just locked up press man coverage. They're going to make you throw with perfect throws and make you separate as a receiver. I think you're going to see a lot of that from the Cowboys today.
Shamil Gary leads Oklahoma State in pass breakups. That's his 8th of the year. Now, let's watch this matchup. Punter Kirby Vanderkamp, a good one. I don't know if he was psyched out by Josh Stewart or not, but a short punt. Oklahoma State will start at their own 42. So let's discuss the Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff players to watch for Oklahoma State on offense and Iowa State on defense, Baldy.
Well, Jeremy Smith is their leading rusher right now, and Tracy Moore is their big play down the field receiver when they're not looking at Josh Stewart. And then Jeremiah Jordan, Jaquez Washington, they're number 1 and number 2 in the Big 12 in tackles, both of them averaging in double digit. In fact, Jeremiah George last week in that embarrassing loss to Baylor had a career best 18 tackles.
Oklahoma State has a 31-yard punt. Their first opportunity on offense. It's Clint Chelf at quarterback. Throws a strike to Charlie Moore. Caught in midfield and escorted out of bounds by Nigel Tribune. There's Clint Chelf. So the question is answered. The senior from Enid, Oklahoma, is the starter today.
He hasn't started since opening day against Mississippi State. Came in relief last week with J.W. Walsh in the second quarter and led him to victory. So he gets to start today.
Second down and 2. Chelf will play fake. And that bounces off Charlie Moore. Moore was slipping down, and it caroms off him out of bounds.
Well, really, ever since Brandon Whedon, stepped away and became a first-round draft pick in the NFL, Oklahoma State has been looking for a quarterback to take charge. They had Wes Lunt in here last year out of Illinois. He transferred back. He started. J.W. Walsh, Clint Chelf, they have all taken turns starting. You're looking for somebody to take the position.
And Chelf goes a bullet over the middle. Tracy Moore on the slant on 3rd and 2. Has a first down to the Cyclone 34. Dion Broomfield the tackle.
Mark, one thing you see from now, they're playing fast now. This is the Oklahoma State speed that they like to play with.
And they will quickly hand the ball off, and Desmond Roland has a chance to run for the first time today and gains about 3.
Well, Clint Chelf, one thing he can do, he gets the ball out of his hands very quickly. He's very sure about what he sees defensively, and he knows where to go with the ball.
His team has a 2nd down and 7, and we'll give the ball again to Roland, who has a hole, who runs out of a tackle, and then is dropped right at the first down marker. Kenneth Lynn brings him down, but the chains will move for the 2nd time.
Oklahoma State, the last couple of weeks now, they haven't been playing at the highest tempo because they've had injuries at wide receiver and injuries at offensive line. But today they look like they're set to go with that high-octane speed.
We'll see if they surpass their average of 76 plays per game on offense. They're 5-1 after a 24-10 win at home last week against TCU. That was an 8-yard run by Desmond Roland on his 2nd carry. At the Iowa State 23, Chelf throwing, caught, and falling down to the 19. Josh Stewart.
Josh Stewart just has an ability to separate and get open quickly. He does, picks up 4 on that first down catch. We'll move him all over the field. Here's Walsh in the slot, now in motion.
Yeah, Stewart in motion. Caught 10 passes last week against TCU, 141 yards, and an electrifying punt return. A throw by Chelf, a catch. Tracy Moore broke out of the tackle at the 11. He broke out of another tackle at the 10 and drags him out inside the 5. Jansen Watson able to bring him down, but Tracy Moore with the run after catch to set up Oklahoma State with 1st and goal.
Well, you can see that Chelf is getting his receivers involved here. Now they're coming with their muscle package. Now they bring in Kyle Staley and Jeremy Seaton. When they get inside the 5, they like to have that threat of running some power football. Staley, about a 235-pound senior, very good blocker, both pass blocking and at the point of attack. They like to run power football here.
Only 1 man wide more. The running back, Desmond Roland. Not much room for Roland, the junior, who has carried 36 times for 147 this year.
Pretty good job by stacking up inside. Brandon Jensen along with Irving, Morrissey. They knew that was coming. They've done the scouting report. When the muscle package comes in for Oklahoma State, they were ready for it.
Now Mike Gundy will spread things out on offense. Mike Yursich is his offensive coordinator. They went with the power package on 1st and goal. They'll spread it out. Trips left. 1 receiver right, Juwan Seals. At the 4, 2nd and goal. It's still rolling in the backfield. But Chelf opting to throw and zips it past Juwan Seals. And here comes the flag.
It was a delayed flag.
Pass interference. Number 2, defense. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball would be placed at the 2-yard line. First out.
From Kissimmee, Florida, Jansen Watson, the guilty party.
Well, here's Watson on coverage here on Seals. And he gets his hands on him, but not doing anything to stop him from getting his hands up to catch that ball. I thought it was a little chippy on the call. Let him play.
Nearly 4 minutes gone by in the opening quarter. A 1st and goal handoff straight ahead. Desmond Roland driving for the end zone, and he is in. Touchdown, Oklahoma State.
Well, power football to cap off a good opening drive with good field position. Just enough push you could see all the way into the end zone. Pretty easy declaration by the side judge for Roland to get in there, get his 3rd touchdown of the season.
They drive 58 yards, and as Baldy said, Roland caps it off with his 3rd touchdown this year. Now here's Ben Grogan. Grogan, the freshman from Arlington, Texas, a perfect 29 of 29 on extra points. And with that extra point after the Desmond Roland, Paul Rhodes told us earlier this week a problem for them this year has been allowing too many long scoring drives. 25 of 60 or more allowed that have netted points for the opposition. That one was 58, and they couldn't get off the field.
He said flat out, we've given up too many points. We're giving up, 36 points a game. They had 3 games in a row where they scored over 30, and they lost all of them.
Jarvis West is ready to have a chance to run this kickoff back. The first was a touchback, and this one will end up pushing him 4 yards back into the end zone. Let's look back at that last drive as Oklahoma State moves it down the field.
Well, you got a little bit of everything. You got Desmond there running the ball. You got Clint Chelf spreading it around to 4 different receivers. That one to Charlie Moore on the outside. And then a little power running here to finish off that drive. So 10 plays, 58 yards. Mike Gundy has to like what he saw from Clint Chelf in that opening drive as he has shuttled quarterbacks throughout the year.
Mike Gundy, you see his record, 46-year-old from Midwest City, Oklahoma. Sam Richardson had an 0 for 2 passing first drive. He'll hand the ball off on the 25. Down goes Seantrell Johnson after a 2-yard gain. What are you seeing down there in the first 4 minutes, JC?
Yeah, I mean, an impressive opening drive by Oklahoma State. But the thing to watch going forward is does Chelf run the ball? J.W. Walsh, who was the starter, he was the leading rusher for this football team. So Chelf did a great job with his arm and spreading the ball around on that first drive. But can he get going in the run game is something to watch going forward.
The leading tackler for Oklahoma State, Caleb Levy, made the stop on that last run by Seantrell Johnson. And an incompletion with Justin Coleman, the nearest intended receiver, a transfer from Nebraska, Omaha, a senior.
And that's on Sam Richardson. And that's what Paul Rhodes is trying to figure out, why he's off on his passes. I mean, that's a simple, flat route. There's 4 or 5 yards there to be gained to set up a short third down situation, and he can't make the throw. So he's been high, he's been off. Is that all injury related? That one looked like it was just bad mechanics.
Saw Paul Rhodes, like Gundy, 46 years old, just down the road in Ankeny, Iowa. Back to pass, Richardson under some heat, and it's intercepted by Justin Gilbert. Gilbert has a path to the end zone for a pick 6 for Oklahoma State.
Touchdown, Oklahoma State.
And the quarterback woes to Sam Richardson continue. He's late, bad decision, and Justin Gilbert, who's playing about as well as any corner in the Big 12, happily takes his 4th interception back for a touchdown. I mean, this is just, here's Gilbert here. He's just taking the motion right now. His ball is to Brundridge, their leading receiver. It's late. Can't be late on the outside against the talent of Justin Gilbert. It's a bad decision. We'll see if they stay with Richardson in this next series.
31-yard return for Justin Gilbert, as you saw his 4th interception this season. The 9th in the career at Oklahoma State for the senior from Huntsville, Texas. He jumps the route, and there he goes. Well, the guy is experiencing the highs and the lows right there. Sam Richardson throws the interception that Justin Gilbert runs back.
Well, I mean, look at this route now. I mean, here it is. Runner's going to run this out to the sticks. But we're going to freeze it when this ball's got to be thrown. Now, the ball has got to be out of his hands before then. And now Gilbert gets a chance to read that and jump it. I mean, he's a skilled player, one of the best corners in all of the Big 12. And you give him a late ball like that to the sideline, he's got no choice but to take it back for 6 points.
Fluing on the route, Gilbert runs it back. Another touchback. And right now, for the first time today, a Fox College football game break. Laura McKeeman.
Well, thank you, Mark. To the ACC we go. Wake Forest at number 7, Miami. Josh Harris, the 12-yard run for a touchdown. Wake Forest up early on the Canes, 7-0. And, of course, the Canes need to be careful not to look ahead to FSU next week, guys.
Indeed. Looking ahead, never a good thing. 3rd time that Iowa State will be starting on their 25 after touchbacks by Kip Smith for Oklahoma State.
Well, just think about Iowa State here and Sam Richardson. They go to Baylor. They get beat 71-7, the 3rd worst loss in Iowa State history. Now you come back, and on your 2nd series, you throw a pick 6. He's got to flush that, get it all out of his head, and start fresh right now.
Devondre Neely, the running back. Richardson will throw a deep ball, and is almost caught at midfield. Shamil Gary again on a pass breakup as they were looking for Jarvis West, the junior from St. Petersburg, Florida.
This is a pretty good throw here. Kind of on the back shoulder. Nice play by Peterson, just getting the hand in there. But at least he got protection that time to get the ball down the field. Still without a completion yet today.
5 pass attempts. Maybe a 6th here as Neely will empty out of the backfield. Richardson stepping up to elude the rush. A throw, and it's incomplete at the 30, intended for E.J. Bibbs. And it was an Oklahoma State defender who's the one who got a hand on it, Dajuan Lowe.
Well, it's all about decision-making at quarterback. And sometimes you start to see ghosts. That ball should have been picked. That was a bad decision. So we've seen some bad mechanics, and we've seen some bad decisions from the quarterback so far today. This is a very good Oklahoma State defense, and right now they got everybody up at the line. They're going to challenge the protection, the quarterback, and then they're going to play press coverage on the outside and challenge the receivers as well.
Oklahoma State only allowing 18 points a game. Here's a throw on 3rd down to the sideline, and Dajuan Lowe in the coverage. They want the flag. It's not coming in on a pass that was intended for Albert Derry.
It's just a 2-receiver route to the outside right now, and we're going to get this going to the corner. And really, you look at Dajuan Lowe, he's right there. And their safeties cover like corners, and that's one of the reasons why they've been so good this year in really developing a swagger on that side of the ball.
The redshirt freshman Grant Rohage is the backup to Sam Richardson, who started 0 for 6. Kirby Vanderkamp from West Des Moines, Iowa. Great punter, averaging 44 per kick. Josh Stewart with a fair catch on the second punt in the low 30s by Vanderkamp, 32. It's been all Oklahoma State here early on.
Defense, especially early downs, 1st and 2nd downs, they need to throw some wide receiver screens, some running backs to make it easier on Sam Richardson and that offensive line, because when they get in long yardage situations, that offensive line is not going to be able to protect very well.
Now it's Oklahoma State's offense on the field for the 2nd time, and a throw and a catch to Jawan Seals. Seals caught it with his knee down just shy of midfield. Jared Brackens was in the neighborhood for the Iowa State defense.
Well, Oklahoma State is playing a lot of freshmen at wide receiver now because of injuries to Austin Hayes and Blake Jackson, and so guys like Seals are getting an opportunity to play a lot more right now.
Seals from Port Arthur is 3rd on the team in receptions and just made 1. Then a 2nd down pass in the flat to Rennie Childs, incomplete from Chelf to Childs.
Well, and there's another freshman that they wanted to get on the field earlier today because of how well he played in the second half against TCU last week, and so he dropped his first pass when he got a chance.
Childs ran for a touchdown in the 4th quarter last week, also had a 34-yard pass reception in the second half. This is a big play for Iowa State's defense. It's a long 3 that Oklahoma State needs at the 50. Desmond Roland is the running back. And he wasn't there. Broken play, and Iowa State will get the stop. Down goes Chelf at the hands of Brandon Jensen.
Well, you said they needed to stop. They got to stop because it was really a blown call in the backfield. In the pistol formation right here, Chelf is going to turn to his left, and the running back is going to the right. As you got no choice right now but to eat that ball, and so Iowa State's defense comes up big with a 3-and-out stop.
The punt by Kip Smith. He got hurt last week. Michael Rickenstein had to kick a couple of times, but Smith boots that one down to the 14-yard line. Fox College Saturday continues as 10th-ranked Texas Tech will battle 15th-ranked Oklahoma coming up on Fox. Then you've got West Virginia taking on K-State. TCU hosts Texas. And in the nightcap, Cal squares off with Washington, all on Fox Sports 1. Fox Sports, your home for college football all season long. It starts this morning here in Ames, Iowa on a 42-degree morning with a wind chill of 34. Iowa State, a rough go. Sam Richardson has still not completed the pass. It's at the 13 on this drive. Just over 6 minutes gone in the game. Trying to get to the edge. Devon McNeely can't. And in the middle at linebacker, there's Caleb Levy, the senior leading tackler from Salina, Texas.
Well, everybody on Oklahoma State is just compressing this whole defense. They're playing all the defenders within 8 yards of the ball. I mean, everybody is up right now. The safeties are all up right here. They're all playing at 5 yards depth. They just don't believe that they can get the ball down the field.
With that loss of 4, it's 10 snaps for Iowa State, no yards. A pass in the flat, they'll have some yardage picked back up here to the original line of scrimmage. And then down goes Neely. Jimmy Bean brings him down.
You just wonder what's going on with Aaron Wimberly. We haven't seen him so far today.
Yeah.
He's their leading rusher. And so you don't know if it's some kind of something that he did. He looked healthy before the game, but right now I don't know if punishment for something they might have done, but that's their leading rusher and their big play guy so far, and he hasn't been on the field.
Junior from Snellville, Georgia. Wimberly transferred from Iowa Western Community College. And on 3rd and 10, they don't get the playoff. Pre-snap penalty.
Ball start, number 70, the offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Daniel Burton, a redshirt freshman from Oklahoma City. Have we mentioned the problems on the Iowa State offensive line? 7 different starting combinations in 7 games.
And, Paul Rhodes is an old offensive lineman and a guy that coached the offensive line. It all starts up front. It's a slippery slope. And so all kinds of injuries up there without Kyle Lichtenberg today. A lot of other guys are adjusting.
3rd and 15. Pushed back because of the penalty. Richardson standing in the end zone, stepping up, throwing, and it is past the intended receiver at the 25-yard line, Tad Ekby, a sophomore from Houston.
That time, Oklahoma State only rushed 3, so Richardson had time. And really, this is a nice job of just running into the zone right here, and he's got Ekby open. There he is, sitting right in the hole, and he's going to catch that ball. I mean, it's actually the best throw that Richardson has had all day. His receivers got to help him.
Ekby doesn't make the catch, and they are counting on a boomer here from Kirby Vanderkamp. But fortunately for them, it's end of the wind. It's held up, and Oklahoma State has it at the Iowa State 43. And we have Laura McKeeman standing by with another game break. Laura.
All right, Mark, some SEC action for you. First ever meeting between Texas A&M and Vanderbilt. Johnny Manziel to Darrell Walker, the 8-yard touchdown. And so far, Johnny football's arm looks okay. He's 10 for 10 with a TD, Mark.
Well, it's been a tough beginning punting into the wind for Kirby Vanderkamp, and because of that ball, the great field position for Oklahoma State.
It's certainly, the wind is a factor today. It's going to be all day, really gusting down there on the field, and it has held the ball up on kickoffs and on punts so far.
Desmond Roland is the running back. Chelf started today at quarterback. Delay handoff. Big one for Roland. 35, 30, spinning inside the Iowa State 25, where he's pushed to the turf by Jevin Miller from Brooklyn, Iowa, a junior.
Well, what happened to Jeremiah George right here? He gets blocked right up front by Jake Jenkins, and there's nobody else in the middle.
19-yard run, then a pass, and incomplete. John Goodlett from Tulsa, a transfer from Indiana State, looking for his 3rd reception of the season, doesn't get it.
Well, they're in that up-tempo right there. They thought they could catch Iowa State just slow to get lined up, and they really did. They just didn't make a good throw.
Desmond Roland had a 19-yard run on the first play of the drive, then the incompletion. Already in field goal range for Ben Grogan. Roland has run for 32 yards today. On the rollout, incomplete. They were looking for the big guy out of the backfield, Kai Staley.
He doesn't get too many opportunities to touch the ball. And mysteriously right here for Mike Gundy, they really haven't done much to get the ball to Josh Stewart early in this game. Here he is right now. He's in the left slot. He got some double coverage working on him up at the top. Man on him and a man behind him.
And the pistol with Roland as the running back. Fake to him. Roland picked up the blitz. Chelf rolls, and Chelf goes to the end zone, incomplete, but there's another marker down. You had two receivers down there for Oklahoma State, Marcel Aitman and Tracy Moore. And the receivers for the Cowboys are clapping.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
The referee today is Alan Eck. You heard the call, defensive holding.
That's the second one today, and it's the second time that they had a chance to get off the field, and you give them a first down. You just can't do that to an offense that has this much firepower.
Third penalty today for Iowa State. They average 5 penalties a game for almost 49 yards. For the 14, Roland on the handoff. Roland inside the 10. And spotted down to the 8 with a pickup of 6. Jeremiah George, the middle linebacker, the leading tackler for Iowa State and in the Big 12. Quick play again. Roland the handoff. Stumbling. Got tripped up at the 10. Walter Woods.
Yeah. You know, for Oklahoma State, they're trying to replace Joseph Randall, who's now the starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, with DeMarco Murray hurt.
And so they've been trying to find that run game that always balanced out a potent passing attack. Right now, Iowa State, pretty good job on the first 2 downs here, forcing him probably to throw it here on 3rd down.
And their leading rusher is Jeremy Smith, who has not played today. It's been Desmond Roland or Rennie Childs. 3rd and 4 at the 8, throwing to the end zone, and it is pulled down and caught. Touchdown. The reception by Moore.
It was great coverage on the play. Moore did a phenomenal job of staying with the ball and ripping it out of Nigel Tribune's hands. Tribune has this ball perfectly played. He's inside out. He's got position on, watch, inside out right here. But Moore takes it right away from him. How you play the ball in the air determines your success, and right there, Moore just took the ball right away from Tribune.
Both Moores have 2 catches today, Charlie Moore and Tracy Moore. And that's Moore, Charlie Moore, the senior from Bullard, Texas. And Ben Grogan makes it 21-0. Oklahoma State has come on the road, and in the first 9+ minutes, they have jumped on the cyclone.
He knows the way it's supposed to look.
Their offense averaging nearly 36 points a game this season. Kip Smith has done a good job in the field position aspect of things today, and it will be another touchback. Jarvis West downs it in the end zone. On Oklahoma State, linebacker Caleb Levy having himself a day.
Well, he is, and he's a sideline-to-sideline guy. If you don't get a body upon him, he's going to flatten your running back. I mean, he stays clean, so that's a credit to his defensive line of Barnett, Castleman up front. But you let him run for the middle linebacker position now, and you don't block him, I mean, he'll make every tackle. And he looks like he's off to a pretty good start today. Had an interception and a fumble recovery last week against TCU.
By the way, with the 21 points scored today, Oklahoma State has stretched their consecutive games of scoring at least 20 to 46. 2-yard run on first down for Iowa State. Calvin Barnett on the tackle, JC.
Yeah, and absolutely going back to Caleb Levy. You know, I've been real impressed down here on the field and how fast he is and how athletic he is. He's a big kid, too. You got to get a hat on him. And Baldy was talking about how clean he is on every play. That offensive line of Iowa State has got to make sure that they get to that next level and get a hat on him, or he's going to make every tackle in the run game.
Iowa State has 6 yards today. Richardson on the option. This will be the biggest gain of the day as he turns it upfield and runs right to the 35, maybe inches shy of a first down.
Well, this is what they need from Sam Richardson. I mean, he's an option quarterback now. So here he comes down. They're not going to block the outside defensive end right here on the play, Tyler Johnson. When he plays the pitch, Richardson makes the right read.
Emmanuel Ogba ran him down. This is a 3rd down and 1. They fake to Jeff Woody. The keeper by Richardson is just enough for Iowa State's first down.
And they get a standing ovation, right? You don't want to be down 21-0 before you get your first down. But, I mean, it's just an option football right now. So option football means you're not going to block this man, all right? He's going to play the pitch. You're going to take that ball inside.
You had a key block delivered by big Jeff Woody. The Cyclones just outside their own 35. Richardson. Now the pocket breaks down. He will tuck it under and run for a couple.
Now, Richardson, in all fairness, has been battling injuries. He's had an ankle injury that slowed him down, a groin injury, and so they said he's as healthy as he's been, though, in weeks right now. But really, look at the coverage right now. I mean, they're just manning up right now, and you're not getting and playing a little zone with those safeties over the top.
Motion for Justin Coleman. Second down. Richardson down the seam on the home run ball, and he finds E.J. Bibbs. Bibbs brings it all the way down to the Oklahoma State 26-yard line. Shamil Gary stops him there.
Well, those safeties have been cheating up, and we've been watching it. They've been playing at about 8-yard steps, and off the play action that time, they got Bibbs behind them all for the first big play of the day for the Cyclones.
Oh, do they need that? And now a quick pass to the sideline and a catch at the 25.
So you can't miss this shot, right? You get Bibbs deep, and he puts it right on him. Bibbs having a good season. That was his 18th catch of the year. He gets behind the safety, Shamil Gary. And look, you're going to play safeties at 8 yards deep. You got to take your chances.
It was 38 yards on that pass play to Bibbs. Now you've got a second down throw again by Richardson. Looking for the end zone, and he got it on the back shoulder fade. Quentin Bundridge gets Iowa State on the board.
That drive should be an injection of confidence for this Iowa State offense that desperately needs it. And really, it was two big plays by Richardson to Bibbs, the tight end, and to Brundridge, their leading receiver, who beat Oklahoma State's best corner, Justin Gilbert, in the end zone that time.
Full net in the extra point ball. The Iowa State is on the board after 12 minutes.
Well, you have to give your star receiver a chance to make the play. And that's what they do to Brundridge here. They get man-to-man, one-on-one on the outside, and Richardson just gives his receiver a chance to make the play on the ball. All right, he's got Gilbert locked up on him. He's making a break to the outside. He's going to throw it to his outside shoulder, let Brundridge adjust to it. That's exactly the throw that you have to make. You can't make it any better than what Richardson just did. And give credit to his offensive line right here. Plenty of time. That ball was into the wind, into the sun. That's what Paul Rhodes has been looking for now.
Indeed. Quentin Bundridge,
good answer,
has the second longest play from scrimmage this year in FBS with a 97-yard reception he had against Texas.
I like Brundridge. Out of Palmetto, Florida. Paul Rhodes has gone down to Florida and got himself a lot of receivers, a lot of talent down there, and that'll make him feel a little bit better about the start to this game.
Florida has 24 players on the Iowa State roster. More than Texas. Texas 20, Iowa, of course, the most. A return at the 20, Justin Gilbert driven out of bounds off the Edwin Arceo kickoff. 21-7, Oklahoma State leads. Here's Laura McKeeman with a Fox College football game break.
All right, Mark, to the Houston Cougars we go. This is their 7th game of the season, and they've scored in all 25 quarters they played. They didn't want to lose that streak. So with only 46 seconds left in the first quarter, the Cougars tied it up with records 7-7. I don't know about you guys, but I picked this game as a potential upset.
Well, Houston certainly trying to bounce back from a 47-46 loss to BYU last week.
Tough loss in Provo last week, but he played very, very well. And got a good freshman quarterback there in Houston.
John O'Born. Here's Clint Chelf throwing deep, looking for Josh Stewart, broken up. Dion Broomfield back in midfield to knock it away.
That was an important play because that's the first time they've been down the field to Stewart today. Pretty good throw by Chelf. Got the wind behind him, so they're taking advantage of it. But Broomfield makes the play. Look, there's nobody to help him now. You're all alone out there, and he didn't panic. That's a good play.
Defensive coordinator Wally Burnham will like that. Another 23, second down. Short to Juwan Seals. It will be 3rd and 10.
Watch Broomfield here. See, he doesn't panic. all he's doing is reading the eyes of Josh Stewart, which is not easy to do. Go try that in your backyard against your brother. Don't look back for the ball. Just look at your brother's eyes and then make the play. Blindfolded play. Nice job.
Around 55,000 expected today here at Jack Trice Stadium. And they've been given life after the slow start by the Cyclones. Now they're trying to help the defense get a stop on 3rd and 10. Chelf throwing behind the intended receiver at the 40-yard line. Charlie Moore, who had a touchdown reception earlier, went down, and Oklahoma State goes 3 and out.
Yeah, you know, and Clint Chelf only completes a touch over 54% of his passes, and he wasn't on that drive. And I'm not taking anything away from Iowa State. They defended very well, but you can feel this crowd right now, and it's a great crowd, starting to feel a little bit better about their chances.
The momentum maybe turning a little bit with Kip Smith. The wind in his back. What a kick. Over the shoulder catch at the 15 by Jarvis West. Running out beyond the 20, stopped at the 23. That is a 62-yard boomer by Kip Smith. Last drive for Iowa State to get him on the board.
Right, and it was. It started with Richardson running, picked up a first down, then he gets the ball to Bibbs down his tight end down the seam, gets behind the safeties, and he finished it off with the touchdown throw on the outside to Brundage. Great throw against good coverage. Kind of throws that he's going to have to make today, Mark, because he's going to see a lot more of this press man coverage. Oklahoma State got some good coverage people. They got some good pass rushers. See if they can kind of build off of that last drive.
A drive where Rick Richardson went 3 for 3, 64 yards. The game was on a slippery slope. Richardson and Iowa State, they respond. A keeper by Richardson on the zone read for a yard. JC.
Yeah, you got to give Iowa State a lot of credit on that last drive for making those big plays, because Oklahoma State's defense, the reason they've been so good this year is because they haven't given up big plays. They only had given up 14 all year of plays of 20 yards or more, and that's second best in the entire country. Iowa State makes 2 big plays on that last drive.
First the pass to Bibbs, then the touchdown throw to Bundridge. Just a run of 1 on first down, and now a marker down.
Ball start, number 70, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Well, for Iowa State, that's twice today that they've caught Daniel Burton.
Burton, just a freshman from Oklahoma City. Been juggling up and down the offensive line, playing guard, playing tackle today with the injury to Lichtenberg.
Now with a minute and a half to go in the first quarter, it's back to the 18. Here's pressure from Jimmy Bean. Richardson got away. Oh, dancing and darting, zigzags through the Oklahoma State pass rush up to the 25.
But he does give you that a little bit of ability to extend the play. And really, when you look at Jimmy Bean right there, I mean, he's really developed and really come on. But you're going to get some pressure off the edge right now, and really Richardson keeps this thing alive. Really took what was going to be a loss and turned it into a little bit of a gain, setting up this 3rd and 8.
Jimmy Bean, part of that Denton Geyer High School connection. That's where J.W. Walsh and Josh Stewart are from. And Jimmy Bean, a sophomore, 2.5 sacks this year. Richardson, a keeper on 3rd down on the option. Down he goes. Oklahoma State snuffs that out. Great defensive lineman, senior Calvin Barnett from Tulsa.
And I find it hard to believe that that's the call that you're going to make on 3rd and 8 against a really talented Oklahoma State defense.
Their first charge of the half. 30 seconds in line. Please put 34 seconds on the game clock.
Well, this is to make a punt into the wind.
That's all it is. I mean, it's just to play field position right now.
And maybe it means that Josh Stewart will get a chance for a punt return here. Mr. Explosive, Mr. Electricity, Josh Stewart, 23.8 punt yards per punt return this year, 2nd in the nation. 2 punt returns for a touchdown this season, including 95 yards against TCU last week. That puts him with some great names: Barry Sanders, Darren Williams, Des Bryant, who also have had 2 punt returns for a touchdown in a season for Oklahoma State.
But I think this wind has affected Josh Stewart on these punts, because the wind is knocking the ball down, and he's not really getting a chance to really get underneath it and get some momentum up on the return.
Kirby Vanderkamp will take it away from him. It will take a roll. Vanderkamp, a little bump and run. It's like he's playing a links course.
He'll take that. You know, that's a better play than to punting it to Josh Stewart. Now, you see what the wind has done to all these punts. And they also not just wanted to get the punt return, but I think you'll look at them to take a deep shot here with the wind at their back and see if they can use it to their advantage to get a big play in the passing game.
Vanderkamp is 11 yards off his punting average today. He averages 44.5. He's at 33.5 today, kicking into this 20-mile-an-hour wind. For their own 41. This is a keeper, and there's a lot of room for Chelf. Cuts back to the middle of the field. He's got the 40. Picks up a block inside the Cyclone 30. Dion Broomfield brings him down, but the keeper by Chelf, that's big yardage.
Well, he's not afraid to run this offense just the way J.W. Walsh is, and they're just coming down with option football. And you can see they play the pitch, but nobody plays the quarterback. It's like J.W.'s not the only guy that can run in this offense at the quarterback position.
Chelf runs for 32. Cluing on the route was Nigel Tribune as they were throwing to Brandon Shepard on the sideline.
Really nice break on the ball here by Tribune. Going to read this route right now, going to get underneath it and knock this ball down. Not a great route, to be honest with you, by Shepard. He's got to square that off a little bit more. I thought he rounded it, and he gave Tribune a chance to make a play on it.
Tribune, the only true freshman playing for Iowa State this year. They had no true freshman play last year. Now Chelf on the final play of the first quarter makes it 5 straight incompletions, but it won't be an incompletion because a marker goes down at the 5-yard line as Shepard went down.
Well, they're going right after Tribune, but he did turn back to look at the football, and the contact looked like it was incidental. And that's what Paul Rhodes is arguing about.
Just apoplectic on the sideline right now. Paul Rhodes, the fiery head coach of the Cyclones.
That's what he's saying. It's incidental contact.
Pass interference. Number 34 defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down. The game clock expired during the play. We're going to have an untimed down.
Here's the double move on the outside. Now watch. Tribune gets him on his hip. I mean, he's allowed to get position when he turns back for the ball. And if Shepard is going to run into him like that, I'm on Paul Rhodes' side on this.
I think you make a pretty strong argument, Brian. There will be an untimed down, as you heard referee Alan Eck explain, because of the defensive foul on the final play of the first quarter. Wally Burnham, in his 5th year at Iowa State, former defensive coordinator at South Florida. There's Nigel Tribune, the freshman. And Paul Rhodes still seething.
Well, that's their 3rd defensive pass interference penalty here now in the first quarter alone. And I really kind of take exception on 2 of them. And I think that's what Paul Rhodes is. I mean, I don't blame him for fighting for his true freshman, Nigel Tribune, right there, because that's what they've coached him to do. Run the wide receiver to the sideline, put him on your hip, turn back for the ball. Any contact at that point should be take the foul off.
An untimed down at the 12 to end the first quarter. A run by Desmond Roland for 6 yards with Corey Morrissey stopping him on the final play of the first quarter. Tribune is an advantage after the first 15 minutes. Clint Chelf started today, going for 58 yards and a touchdown. Sam Richardson, 4 for 12 for Iowa State. Justin Gilbert has a 31-yard pick 6. It is 2nd down and 4 for Oklahoma State on the first play of the second quarter. Now going into the teeth of the wind. They'll hand the ball off, and Desmond Roland straight up ahead into the end zone. Oklahoma State, the touchdown.
Second touchdown for Roland today, and the C's just parted open. Had 4 wide receivers out there and spread Iowa State out. Had a nice running lane off of the left side. Good lead block that time by Staley. Roland taking his 2nd touchdown run of the day.
And 4th of the season. This is the Dallas area, Lake Highlands High School. Desmond Roland. Ben Grogan. 3 seconds into the second quarter. Extends the lead to 28-7 for Oklahoma State. Roland has found the end zone twice, and he puts it back up by 21. By Whataburger. Try one of Whataburger's all-time favorites 24 hours a day. And by Fred Loya Insurance. Take the 10-minute challenge and save. .28-7 is the lead for Oklahoma State over Iowa State. Desmond Roland just ran one in on the first play of the second quarter, and an end-of-the-wind kickoff running up the field. They have it at the 17-yard line. Desmond Roland breaking to the sideline, makes a man miss, out of bounds at the 36-yard line of Iowa State. There's also a marker down. And the final play of the first quarter, you see the split screen here. Nigel Tribune, Iowa State head coach Paul Rhodes. This is the last play of the first quarter.
During the return, holding, number 84, receiving team. 10-yard penalty, he spotted the foul. First out.
See Tribune and Brandon Shepard. Remember a play before Tribune had been called for pass interference. Then the pushing and shoving in the end zone, and then Paul Rhodes and Nigel Tribune.
Well, he needs it. He's a freshman. You got to keep his head in the game. You can't let him throw punches out there. He's going to get thrown out. And so now a penalty on that kickoff return. Iowa State's had no field position all day. That looks like he's all right. Got to smile back. Freshmen are a little resilient at times.
And that was after the kick obviously held up into the wind. Nice return by Neely. They could have started at the 36. This is 24 yards and lost field position for Iowa State because of the penalty on the return. Richardson looked right, looked left, throwing, trying to float it over, and it's caught, hauled in. That's Tad Ekby along the sideline for Iowa State.
Well, you like to see that from Sam Richardson. That ability just to kind of extend a play. We'll see if he's got at least 1 foot in. He does.
Yeah.
Yes. Good call. Another 20-plus yard play for Iowa State. 3 of those so far today.
20 on the button, as a matter of fact. Richardson keeps it, take the handoff, run a big hole up the middle. He's in midfield. He's at 40, trying to outrun the Oklahoma State defense. They will catch him, but not before he gallops all the way down to the 17 of the Cowboys.
You can see what kind of runner he is. I mean, he's fast, and that's the right read. I mean, you're going to come down here just a little option football. They're optioning the defensive tackle right there. He hasn't been making great decisions the last couple of weeks. That time, you don't block the tackle. He goes with the back. You pull it. And, boy, the Red Seas just opened up for him. And the guy that has struggled with an ankle injury, with a groin injury, he looks healthy right now.
The previous longest run of the year for Iowa State was 39. That one, 51 yards. The OSU 17, another handoff, more running room for Devondrick Neely to the 10. Neely, a sophomore from Monticello, Florida, goes down to the hands of Sean Lewis.
And J.C. Pearson talked about it coming in today. Oklahoma State in the first 6 games only gave up 14 plays of 20 yards or more. We've seen today that they've had 4 of them against them.
It's Tyler Johnson, number 40, fine defensive end, senior from Haskell, Oklahoma, former minor league baseball player in the Angels organization.
Oh, converted linebacker into this 4-man front.
Left defensive end, Tyler Johnson right now at the 10. Option play. Richardson. James Castleman on the tackle at the 11.
Look, Richardson has been their leading rusher today. And Oklahoma State is good against the run. They're not playing their leading rusher, Aaron Wimberly, today. And so there's got to be some kind of team violation for him not to be out there. So they're not helping themselves with that. So we're seeing, Neely right now and Chantrell Johnson, they're not getting the production that they'd love to have against this Oklahoma State defense right now without him.
Wimberly, a guy who's run for almost 400 yards this year. At the 11 with a pivotal 3rd and 4 coming up. Iowa State wants to chit-chat. Paul Rhodes takes a timeout. 2.5 minutes into the second quarter. They trail 28-7.
Dependability has an image problem. Everyone thinks it's dull, quiet, unassuming.
Well, here he is. He gets the defensive tackle right now. That's the option now. They're not going to block him. He goes with the back, and it opens up the hole right behind him. And his eyes are faster today. He didn't make that play last week against Baylor. And it's hard. It's hard. You're running down those freeway lanes like that in the middle of the field, and you think somebody's going to come blow me up. You know, but I don't want to slow myself down to go look for him.
The run was 51 yards, part of a 65-yard day on the ground for Richardson. Big play here at the 11 of Oklahoma State.
That's his receiver inside, Brundridge, that he likes.
3rd and 4 on the option. They'll pitch to Neely. Neely to the edge. He's got the 5. He dives for the end zone. What an effort. It is a touchdown for Iowa State.
Like he jumped off a trampoline. That was some effort, Mark. That was fun.
Springboarding into the end zone.
There's a great pitch by Richardson, too. Good read. Where does he take off from? He takes up from the 3.
Wow.
He ran right over the top of Shamil Gary. Bumped that one to his resume reel. There's a highlight.
Now I think they're going to review.
Previous play is under further review.
Good. Gives us another chance to look at it again. I don't know if I can get enough of it. And Richardson on the 2 touchdown drives right now has been the star here for Iowa State, and they need him to be. He's got that ball. I don't know what in the world they would have to go review.
What a vertical by Devondrick Neely.
Oh, wow. What an effort. Now you're going to give me a chance to carry the football, give it to me on the outside on 3rd down. I'm going to make sure I get in. It's not like you practice getting into the end zone like this. That's just a gut instinct.
It slams right into Shamil Gary, as you said. That's not just a vertical. That's an up and forward on that leap.
Yeah, let's give him a... Oh, that didn't... It looked like that might have hurt coming down.
There are 5 different players who have run the ball this year for Iowa State. Devondrick Neely's pretty far down the pecking order, but runs like that will push him up.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
And remember that was the conversion volley on a 3rd and 4 at the 11-yard line.
But, you know, this is a running team, and really when Richardson is running that option, the way that we've seen him on the 50-yard run, or yard run, scamper right up the middle, or the pitch option on the outside, they like to run it more than they throw it. And if you can run it on 3rd down like that, with that kind of effectiveness, then you got to keep doing it.
Extra point, hold net. Devondrick Neely had 10 carries all year coming into today. He's got 3 this afternoon, including this touchdown. When we return, we'll join Laura McKeeman in our Fox College football studio for a look at what's coming up at halftime.
Louisville and Central Florida, plus a preview of Texas Tech and Oklahoma. Now back to Mark, Brian, and JC in Ames. Stay warm, guys.
We are trying to stay warm, Laura, on a 42-degree day. At least that was the temp at kickoff, but warming. And the fans are warming up here in this great atmosphere in Ames, Iowa.
I love it. They all got a Jeremiah George jersey on right there. Cyclones. I love watching kids playing football out there in the yard on a Saturday afternoon.
Arceo with the wind at his back, booms it through the end zone. All right, what you seeing down there, JC?
I'll tell you what, guys, one of the reasons why Iowa State is having so much success running the ball now is because now they're getting a guy out to block the middle linebacker, Caleb Levy, number 45. We talked earlier in the game how he was making every play in the run game because he was clean. Now he's not clean. He's having to fight over blocks. They're trying to cut him. That's slowing him down, going sideline to sideline, and that's why they're having success running the football.
You know, JC, they also got excellent blocks on the outside from the wide receivers on that touchdown scamper by Neely. So really contributions from a lot of guys to make that running game go.
Chelf handing off. He has 4 straight incompletions. And Iowa State strings to play out, and Rennie Childs can't find anywhere to go. Jeremiah George, they have such a great history of linebackers. A.J. Klein, Jake not here the last few years, and Jeremiah George stepping right into those footsteps.
Well, you talk about sideline to sideline. That's what George is, and that's what he just did.
Loss of 2. Again, Chelf 4 straight incompletions. He'll throw it here over the middle, 5 straight. And 8 out of 9, only a touchdown sandwiched in between John Goodlett from Tulsa, the intended receiver.
And Mark, really, the win today is a huge factor. When you're playing the win, remember, Oklahoma State called a timeout with seconds left in the first quarter to play the win. Now you're thrown into the win. If Iowa State can get a stop right here, you're going to force a punter into the win. You make a good field position. This is a factor ongoing all day.
Setting the stage for a shootout here in Ames. Pressure on Chelf and sails it out of bounds. Way over Charlie Moore. 3 and out. Kip Smith on to punt.
Yeah, Kip Smith is going to get challenged. And really, Iowa State right now has got to think return. They've got good returners. Trying to get good field position back here. They'd love to get one more score here and tighten this thing up.
Jarvis West has averaged 14 yards on 9 returns this season.
The ball's just getting knocked down by the wind.
And they tell him to stay away from it. Albert Gary was also back there, just waved everyone off alertly. Crowd Goes Wild is the new weekday talk show with Regis Philbin and a cast of former athletes and journalists, where you can always expect the unexpected. Be sure and catch Crowd Goes Wild weekdays at 5 Eastern on Fox Sports 1.
I'm sure they'll be talking about the World Series. Cardinals going to Boston, get a split, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, some good baseball being played this weekend. And for Sam Richardson, trying to build off of that last drive where he was really the star with a big run and a good option pitch.
51-yard run on the drive for Richardson. Neely capped it with an 11-yard touchdown run. James White from Skyline High School in Dallas. They'll run off the left side for 2 on first down with Iowa State's best starting field position. Still no Aaron Wimberly today at running back for Iowa State. It's been Neely who had the touchdown. It's been James White with that run there. Chantrell Johnson, Jeff Woody. With the feet of the quarterback.
I think the offensive line's been good for Paul Rhodes today. I mean, he was talking about his 7th combination in 7 weeks, but they seem like they're getting a good feel for each other right now in the positions they're in.
In the middle of that offensive line, Tom Farniok snaps it back. And a throw and catch, and P.J. Harris wrestling his way up near midfield. Might be a little shy. Half yard short of the first down. Justin Gilbert able to hang on and stop him a yard short.
Yeah, they just do a stop right in front of Gilbert. And they are. They're about a yard shy right here.
Paul Rhodes looked like he was in the ear of the line judge about the spot on the far side from our perspective. Passionate head coach Paul Rhodes. In the pistol on 3rd and 1. Option. Richardson. Keeper. First down. To the Oklahoma State 45. They move the sticks. 6-yard run.
I mean, Richardson looks like he's getting into a pretty good rhythm right now. Again, it's just option football coming down the line right now. I think a pitch relationship. Look at this alley open up. That's why he doesn't pitch it. He sees the alley and he takes it. Remember, he only needed a yard for the first down.
Man down right now for Iowa State. There is an injured player on the field here for the Cyclones. I think that's the tight end, E.J. Bibbs.
Yep.
Yes, it is. Number 11, E.J. Bibbs from Chicago, a junior. We will step aside with 10:10 left in life. And the stands here in Ames. They're down 28-14. Play fake. First down throw down the sideline behind Ernst Brunn, who just came in at tight end with Bibbs out of the game. The first 4 drives for Iowa State netted 4 yards. The last 4, 184 yards.
Yeah, remember in those first 4 drives, there was a second drive where Richardson threw that ball late to the outside, and Justin Gilbert picked it off. That's 7 of Oklahoma State's points were off of that interception.
Got trips to the right. Iowa State has a receiver to the left. James White going out of the wheel route. Trouble for Richardson. And
that ball get back to the line of scrimmage?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, there's the marker.
That's going to be on Oklahoma State's pressure.
Intentional grounding, number 12 offense. Loss is down at the spot of the pass. Third down.
That's the right call.
Yeah, Caleb Levy brings the heat.
Yeah, Levy's just coming off the edge right here. And they've been known to do this, kind of an overloaded blitz that time, and unblocked, and really Richardson has nowhere to go with the ball. The last thing you want to do is just dump it because you lose a down with the yardage.
Iowa State started 0 for 4 on third down today, but they've converted 3 of their last 4, but they're in a world of hurt here with 3rd and 22 after the loss of down to the penalty. And Richardson forced out of the pocket. Hit when he went down.
He gave himself up too, and usually when you get hit after giving yourself up, that's a penalty. Tyler Johnson hit him. I think they hit him in the head too. And I think it's a double foul, and it wasn't called. Remember, the quarterback, as soon as he begins his slide, he gives up. He's protected at that point.
Grant Rohach, redshirt freshman, saw his first action of the season last week against Baylor.
He starts into a slide right now. He's getting down. There it is. There it is. Right on top. Ow. I don't know how they don't flag that. Trying to protect quarterbacks right now. His feet first slide. He should be afforded the protection that quarterbacks get to try and keep these guys healthy.
Well, clearly there's medical attention and concern about the neck.
Yeah, and there should be. I mean, really, Richardson has been fighting the injury bug this year, the ankle, the groin. Paul Rhodes telling us this week that he thought he had the healthiest he's been. He had a good week of practice.
Richardson, as you see, is up.
He doesn't look like he's ready to jump, jog off the field or anything. He looks pretty dazed. Really slow to move. It may take a while to work off. But really, I mean, that's why quarterbacks began to slide, because the rules were made for them so they could protect themselves at all levels. And he doesn't look good.
At live speed.
They missed that one.
When punting into the wind in the first quarter, Kirby Vanderkamp averaged only 33.5 yards. Josh Stewart, fair catch at the 15. The electrifying punt returner Stewart does not get an opportunity with 9:28 remaining in the second quarter, and Oklahoma State on offense.
I tell you, I think Wally Burnham, the defensive coordinator of Iowa State, although nobody wants to give up 21 points, and that's what the defense has surrendered, you know, they've done a good job of taking care of Josh Stewart today. That's a pretty big group of medical team there looking at Sam Richardson.
Oklahoma State is seeing Clint Chelf start today at quarterback and go 6 of 16. And 6 consecutive incompletions. Delay handoff, Desmond Roland. This drive starting officially for Oklahoma State at their own 16. Jevin Miller with a tackle on the run by Roland on first down.
Jevin Miller getting a chance to start in front of Luke Knott today. And it's been the right decision. He played pretty good in the run game right now.
Richardson still getting medical attention on the sideline. Roland has run for 50 yards on 10 carries, 2 touchdowns. An 11th carry here as he leaps out past the 20.
Pretty conservative play calling right now from the Cowboys.
Their offensive coordinator is Mike Yursich.
He's been aggressive. That's one of the reasons he's the first-year offensive coordinator for the Cowboys, and one of the reasons why Mike Gundy selected him was how aggressive he is.
From Shippensburg University, where they led Division II in total offense last year. What did Mike Gundy and Mike Yursich have in store here on 3rd and 6? A quick throw, bobble, and a drop. Tracy Moore couldn't hang on to it. Right at the first down marker with Dion Broomfield, the Iowa State defender in the neighborhood.
Well, this is looking at it from Clint Chelf's perspective right here. He got a bunch of hands right in his face, but he hits Tracy Moore right where he needed to, right at the first down sticks. Put it right on him. Broomfield right behind him, maybe looking for a little pick.
And here into the wind, boy, Mother Nature is helping Iowa State get back into things in the second quarter. It will roll. Got almost 15 yards because of the bounce on that punt. 34 yards around the Big 12. You've got 4 teams that were in the first BCS standings that came out Sunday night. Baylor 8th, Texas Tech 10th, Oklahoma 15, and these Oklahoma State Cowboys are 19th. And Baylor continuing to put up video game numbers, averaging nearly 65 points and 714 yards.
Well, we saw him the first 2 weeks of the season against Wofford and Buffalo, and Bryce Petty was the question mark, and I don't think anybody's questioning Bryce Petty's ability right now.
Grant Rohach, redshirt freshman, last week against Baylor, went 8 for 13, 65 yards. He'll turn and hand it off on his first snap. Iowa State, their own 46, and a short run for Devondrick Neely, who had this sensational touchdown run earlier in the game.
Well, we just saw that the offense is a little bit different with Rohach. You don't get the option that Richardson has, the ability to run with it. That's just a straight handoff that time.
Guys, I was just over behind the Iowa State bench, and it looked like they were, putting Sam Richardson through the concussion protocol, asking him a lot of questions, and he had to respond to him, but seemed like he was doing well, so don't know what his status is as of right now.
We do know the status of E.J. Bibbs is that he's back in the game after going out with an injury earlier. He caught the pass from Rohach, putting Iowa State into a 3rd and 1 as Jimmy Bean keeps Bibbs from gaining the first.
And that last play was what you call a hot read, meaning that Bibbs replaced the linebacker who was blitzing on the play, just threw it to the vacancy, and that was a good read by Rohach, recognizing.
Rohach from Moore Park, California. In the pistol on 3rd and 1. He'll give it a go on the option, spinning it, belted at the 44. I'm not sure he got there. Ryan Simmons with a lick at the 44.
You know what? You got to go for it, though. You got to go for it. I mean, I think you got to play. They're a struggling offense right now. They're down 14 to a high-powered offense in Oklahoma State. Good defense. This is going to be less than a yard short. I think Paul Rhodes has to go for it, be aggressive. Get your best short yardage power football play that you have, that you've worked on, and you get after, especially coming off of that really lackluster performance last week at Baylor.
Of course, Baylor's done that to a lot of teams this year.
They had been so competitive in all their games this year, like just close losses. And last week happened. Rohach tucking the ball away, trying to spin for that extra yardage, but good, really good team defense right there with Ryan Simmons making the first contact.
A measurement. A foot and a half short. This is what you said they got to do.
They're starting defensive tackles and line in there, Barnett and Castleman.
And they've got their short yardage back, Jeff Woody, who has 4 touchdowns and 14 carries this year. Just trying to convert on 4th and a foot. Inside the Oklahoma State 45. Woody. And he easily has the first down. Didn't have to battering ram through the line of scrimmage. There was a hole cleared by the Iowa State left side of the offensive line.
Well, good job here on Castleman by the left side of the line right now. Good double team on Castleman. And then that's really Amole right there that did a good job of coming up to the linebacker and creating that hole.
Sophomore Oni Amoila from Coppell, Texas at the 41. They fake to Johnson, a rollout, Rohach to the tight end Bibbs. 35, and hit hard at the 32. Levy and Sean Lewis sandwich Bibbs on the tackle, a little bit shy of a first.
This is a nice play. Nice call this time by Messingham, the offensive coordinator here, to get Rohach out of the pocket. A little bootleg action, easy completion to his tight end. Good first down game. Bibbs is That's a different injury than the one we saw him go out with a couple of plays ago.
Well, he got tattooed on that hit, Levy and Lewis.
A little confusion here in just what this play is.
3 catches for Bibbs today, 53 yards. It's 2nd down and 1. And Rohach, he will go for the end zone, and it's incomplete. Tyler Patman on the coverage. Dondre Daly, a true freshman receiver, was back. He had to play defensive back, it looked like, Baldy.
Well, the ball was underthrown, so he was just making sure it wasn't intercepted. And that's called offensive pass interference. They didn't call it, and really Tyler Patman knows it. That's pretty flagrant on the outside.
Tyler Patman from Round Rock, Texas, transferred from Kansas, where he was a 3-year starter. He's the 3rd corner. Kevin Peterson and Justin Gilbert, the starters for Oklahoma State. Now they got to convert a 3rd and 1. Chantrell Johnson does that, although, boy, he pays a price. Inside the Oklahoma State 31, leveled by Sean Lewis.
Pretty good looking drive, though. Started with good field position because of a nice defensive stop by the defense. Punting into the wind. Rohach looks like, you know what, it's not too big for him. He's got a little bit of poise about him right now. Surveying the landscape of Oklahoma State's defense.
It's the 8th play of the drive. It's a handoff to Chantrell Johnson. On the edge, comes back, runs out of the tackle. To the 23. A gain of 8 for Chantrell Johnson. Trace Clark brings him down.
Chantrell Johnson is not a big guy, but watch the left side. Watch no penetration right now on this side of the offensive line. Little down block. Get the guards pulling outside. That's a nice hole right there for Chantrell Johnson to cut through. Gets Daytwan Lowe going a little bit past the hole and then cuts up inside.
Chantrell Johnson playing after 2 years ago. A scary neck injury in a game against Texas that ended his 2011 campaign in the 4th game of the season. Came back last year, ran for 500 yards, and he'll run here, convert the 1st down. Daytwan Lowe cut him down as he fell forward inside the 20 with 4:16 to go in the 2nd quarter.
Tell you, this Oklahoma's defense came in with a swagger today. I mean, they came in averaging, giving up just a little over 3 yards a carry. But these type of runs right now that Iowa State are coming at them is just big on big, and they're winning the line of scrimmage.
Methodical drive here, Baldy, for Iowa State. 9 plays. Now a 10th. Devondrick Neely is in. Neely takes the handoff. And down he goes. Ofa Hautau and Trace Clark on the Oklahoma State defensive line.
Well, they're rotating linemen now, trying to keep them fresh.
You got Tyler Johnson, Sam Wren, Calvin Barnett, James Castleman, Jimmy Bean, Trace Clark, Emmanuel Ogba, some of the names that you'll see in and out of that line. Mundridge is in the slot on the right. He's caught a touchdown pass today, and Iowa State will get backed up.
Ball start. Number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Amoyla, who got hurt in practice earlier this week, they asked him if he was okay, and he turned to Paul Rhodes, and he said, I got to be okay. Don't have a choice. Don't have anybody else.
And he knows it, too. He was going to block Castleman there, the defensive tackle, and those pre-snap penalties, they take you out of your rhythm. They were ready to run that ball again, that play.
Oklahoma State not penalized today. Iowa State 8 for 52. Rohach looping it for the end zone, and a juggling grab trying to make it in the corner, and he got it! It is a touchdown by Mundridge!
Paul Rhodes challenged Quentin Brundridge this week, saying we need more big plays from him. And he is delivering for the 2nd really spectacular touchdown catch of the day. I don't feel good for a freshman quarterback putting it up to him like that. Iowa State putting up a fight.
He was Iowa State's outstanding newcomer in 2012, Quentin Brundridge. And the sophomore from Palmetto, Florida, has found the end zone for the 2nd time today. And the extra point of Cole Netton is blocked. James Castleman keeps a point off the board, and Oklahoma State's lead is 8. Castleman from Amarillo, a junior.
Well, Castleman is somewhere in the middle there, but he gets the penetration. You can see it, both hands up. Coming right between the center and the guard. You never know when you lose a point like that when it comes back to bite you.
There's the junior again from Amarillo, Texas, James Castleman. Bundridge with a hug of Ernst Brunn, the tight end on the sideline. Bundridge has found the end zone on both of his grabs today, Baldy.
Yeah, and both of them against Justin Gilbert. Look at that one-handed tip to himself. Gilbert is all in his grill. He comes down, and the ball just falls in his lap, and then he squeezes it. And he holds on to it. The ball never hits the ground. I mean, this is a juggling act all the way to the ground. Gilbert's trying to get it out. Look what I found.
The plays that Iowa State has had to make to score touchdowns today, Neely leaping into the end zone, and this.
I mean, Justin Gilbert can't play that ball any better. He's all over Brundridge. He's got his hand up. But Brundridge right now, 2 touchdown catches. Iowa State's right in this.
And the wind will push this all the way to the back of the end zone. Muscatine, Iowa's Edwin Arceo's kickoff is a touchback. Oklahoma State up 28-20, starting at their own 25. There's the drive. 11 plays, 54 yards, 5:14 off the clock. Now remember, biggest win in Iowa State history, November 18, 2011. They'd never beaten a top 5 AP-ranked team. Jeff Woody runs it in the end zone, double overtime. Iowa State wins 37-31. Paul Rhodes gets the Gatorade, and the students rush the field in jubilation.
Absolute bedlam, you know, for Iowa State. And Mike Gundy says he thinks about it every single day.
It derailed hopes of a national title for Oklahoma State. Chelf has thrown 7 straight incompletions, so he'll hand the ball off here.
But, you know, when you look at Stewart...
And that was Stewart on the run.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't gotten the ball to him in the passing game. They got to get the ball in his hands. He's the spark plug, not just to this offense, but I think to the entire team.
Now a handoff up the gut. And it's a keeper. No, it's Chelf. Oh, it's the 50. He's at the 40. Great job running by Clint Chelf, and Oklahoma State responds with a big run. Jared Brackens finally able to catch Chelf.
Well, good for Clint Chelf, because he's going to make that defense stay honest. And if you're not going to defend me and you're going to go after my running backs, I'm going to keep
for 32 yards. Now ahead of steam off the left side and driven backwards. Rennie Childs blown up by Jevin Miller.
Jevin Miller and Jacquez Washington right there just turn the running back sideways. And you can feel like look, when your offense is putting up 21 points like that, it gives life to your defense. And those are the kind of hits that inspire everybody on that side of the ball.
Chelf's run for 57, Roland's run for 56. Now Chelf will throw the inside screen, and one play on defense. Down goes Justin Gilbert. Jeremiah George snuffed it out.
George's impressive. Well, here's the long run by Clint Chelf right now. Here's George right here. He's going to make the play. Really good job. All he does is react to the ball in that bubble screen right there. And that reaction to get Stewart down like that is impressive.
Into the wind, 3rd and 9 at the Cyclones 35, throwing, and it's Tracy Moore, incomplete. Broken up by Dion Broomfield.
Well, I think part of really the way Iowa State's defense is performing, it's a complete reaction to the offense, keeping the ball, keeping him fresh. Good effort all the way around. Broomfield, we've seen him make a number of plays today.
Well, into the wind, Ben Grogan not going to give that a go. No field goal. 4th and 9. They're going for it. Chelf under pressure, deflected at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Brandon Jensen, Ankeny, Iowa, junior, tipped into the line of scrimmage, turned over on downs.
That's the local kid. Yeah, I mean, Chelf is looking to his left, and really Jensen comes to his backside, gets the hand up. There he is. You can't get there, get your hands up. That's exactly what he does, just a volleyball spike. Gets right in the passing lane. That's good effort all the way around. think they were going to try and get that ball to Stewart in the slot. So really inspired play here by the Cyclones. They've always played much better at home than they do on the road, and Mike Gundy's got to be a little bit nervous about really the way that the offense is stalled here in the second quarter.
Before that, Iowa State opponents had converted on 8 of 10 fourth downs this year. And Roach will let it fly down the sideline, and it's incomplete.
Hey, one thing so far, this Oklahoma State defensive line, they have not put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Even that time, Roach had time to take a shot down the field to Brundridge.
But Tyler Patman had very nice coverage for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I mean, the question mark in this whole offense for Iowa State was, were they going to be able to protect with their 7th offensive line combination and just juggling guys, healthy bodies? And right now, I think they're playing pretty well.
A moment ago, you saw Glenn Spencer, the Oklahoma State defensive coordinator, on the sideline, elevated into that spot this year. Roach keeping, Roach running. They've got 2 timeouts, a play gain 7 into the middle of the field of the 42, the clock running at 55 seconds.
Well, they got the wind at their back, so they have a field goal, a possibility if they can get another 20 yards.
Cole Netton has made one from 41 for his longest this year. Roach throwing and incomplete. Now that will stop the clock. Trying to go to Albert Gary. 4th and 3, 41 seconds to go in the half.
It's a good stop by Oklahoma State here. Stewart going back to return this one. I would not punt the ball to Josh Stewart here. I'd punt this ball to the sideline. I would not let him get his hands on it.
Vanderkamp. When giving it a push to the 11. Stewart, 15-yard line, whistled down.
Really good.
Charlie Rogers.
Really good coverage.
Coming up at halftime, Laura McKeeman and Tony Banks have Fox College Football halftime presented by Arby's. They'll be talking about an upset brewing in Miami against the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest playing the Canes. Texas A&M taking care of business against Vanderbilt and College Station, and a preview of the game coming up later today on Fox between 10th-ranked Texas Tech and 15th-ranked Oklahoma here in the Big 12.
Yeah, and you got to give all the credit in the world to Cliff Kingsbury coming in there to Lubbock this year, turning things around, putting together a good offense, and really they're going to get a chance to make a real national statement today in Norman. I think Oklahoma State's doing the right thing into this win, taking a knee and regrouping here at halftime.
They have led by as many as 21. It was 21-0 and 28-7. But Iowa State, 13 unanswered points. There was a blocked extra point in there for James Castleman for Oklahoma State. That is why it's an 8-point rather than a 7-point lead.
I mean, look, Josh Stewart came in. Came in really highlighting Josh Stewart today. For that effort, three receptions, 10 yards, Iowa State's got to feel great going into the locker room right now of how they've throttled his ability.
All roads getting ready to go for the start of the second half. Though Iowa State had the wind at their back in the second quarter, they'll have their wind at their back here in the third quarter as well. There's Justin Gilbert. We've talked at length about how great Josh Stewart is in the return game. Guys like Justin Gilbert and Brandon Shepard have been dangerous this year for Oklahoma State as well. But Gilbert won't have any opportunity as the wind pushes that into the end zone. A touchback. Cowboys at their own 25 to start the third quarter. The offensive leaders for Oklahoma State through half an hour. Clint Chelf, just 8 of 21. He was 40% passing last week when he came on in relief of J.W. Walsh against TCU, and a little below 40% so far today. Desmond Roland has run for 54. Tracy Moore, the senior from Tulsa, had 23 catches for the year coming into today, and he's the leading receiver. 2 grabs for 31 yards. Here we go with the keeper. Chelf's had one big run today. He'll tiptoe to the sideline. A marker comes down. Brandon Shepard was throwing a downfield block. The run by Clint Chelf is out past the Iowa State 35, but hold the phone.
Well, they're going to get Shepard on the outside.
Holding. Number 7, offense. 10-yard penalty. Spot a foul. 3 plays, first down.
First penalty today for Oklahoma State.
Well, here is on the outside working against Jansen Watson. And, you know, if your quarterback is pulling it, that's probably a pretty good takedown. And a good call on the outside. Oklahoma State, who struggled offensively in that second quarter, doesn't help themselves out on the first play here of the third quarter.
It's a spot foul, so a 1st and 8 with Chelf on another keeper to the left side over the Iowa State 30 to the 31 with Corey Morrissey on the tackle. The first half possession chart, when they had good field position, they were able to make some things happen, but then when they were going into the teeth of that stout wind, they ground to a halt.
It all changed, and really the passing efficiency of Chelf changed too when he was throwing into the wind.
The Cowboys look at 2nd down and 4 with Josh Stewart in motion. They'll give it to him. Now a flip on the reverse. Running back to the left. At the 35, Jawan Seals steps out of bounds at the 41-yard line. A 1st down run. Jansen Watson forced him out, but Seals picks up the first.
Well, here comes Stewart underneath, and then you're going to get Seals coming around the outside right now. So a little reverse gadget here by Oklahoma State.
And now Chelf with a bullet for the sideline, incomplete.
You think about the offensive coordinators that have come through Stillwater under Mike Gundy, from Dana Holgerson to Larry Fedora to Todd Monken, all head coaches in this league. You get a lot of national publicity when the offensive coordinator, and the new one, Mike Yursich, right now, trying to live up to those kind of standards.
I think things are stopped because there's a scoreboard. The scoreboard clock is completely off.
There it is. A blackout here.
The big video board to our left is working.
Yeah, with the time, 14:02 in the third. Got the score correct. One side is on.
That's
The time on the north scoreboard is correct. 14:02.
Oklahoma State is headed in that direction. The scoreboard to their back
The
is
play clock
off.
will be kept on the field by the back judge.
Alan Eck, the referee. The back judge who will keep the play clock is Brad Van Vark. It's like soccer. The referee
Yeah, there it
keeping
is.
the time on the field.
Got it right on the wristwatch right there. Timex keep on ticking.
Chelf handing the ball to Desmond Roland, who will blast through a big hole to the 40 of Iowa State, and then forced out of bounds at the Iowa State 26. Desmond Roland with another big run.
And one way to handle the wind is to run right into it. And so that's a couple of runs that they've had where they've just split the defense and come up with a big gain.
That gained 32, and Desmond Roland's day is now 12 carries, 86 yards. Ty Staley, Desmond Roland in the backfield, Charlie Moore to the left, Marcel Aitman and John Goodland were out to the right. Marker.
Ball start, number 71, offense. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Webb City, Missouri's Parker Graham.
Well, here's the run by Roland. You're going to see just a good cut in the middle. And really, Jeremiah George was on the outside defending the pass, and he wasn't anywhere near it.
Now back to the 31 of Iowa State with Chelf throwing, and he floats it right to the 5-yard line for an interception. Iowa State with the pickoff. Nigel Tribune, the freshman who got hit with a pass interference penalty earlier, bounces back with the INT for Iowa State.
Yeah, let's take a look here on the outside. This is where he wants to get the ball to. Throwing into this wind right now. Really, Tracy Moore was his guy. He's got to be disappointed in that throw. They've been running the ball so well right into it.
On one end of the spectrum, you have Oklahoma State tied for the most interceptions per game at FBS, 2 a game. Iowa State only has 3 interceptions now by their defense all season long.
I'll tell you, a great play by Tracy Moore after the interception, though, to make the tackle and pin Iowa State down at the 1-yard line.
They forced the turnover. but they are as far away as they could be, and they barely run the ball out of the end zone on first down. Now it's still Rohach in at quarterback. Caleb Levy on the tackle of Chantrell Johnson. Out of the pistol, they were able to
Lyman's got to come out
for a yard.
Yeah, Jake Jenkins lost.
Or Tom Farniok.
Yeah, Farniok, yeah, lost his helmet there, so he's got to come out.
And Ben Loth, a new center. Talk about the pressure being on here, Brian. Having to snap it back at the 2. On target on the snap, going into the end zone. Oh my! Chantrell Johnson caught it in the end zone 2 yards deep and raced up out of danger to near the 5.
Anytime you throw the ball in the end zone, in your own end zone,
and
it's always dangerous. I mean, it's just a flare control to Johnson. You just hope that he can make somebody miss just to get outside of their own end zone. And now you've got Ben Loth here in shotgun. Hold off the bench. You always worry about the snap in this situation.
Chantrell Johnson raced past James Castleman. Levy the tackle officially at the 4. Where it's 3rd and 7. Farniok back in, rolling, throwing. Rohach over Mundridge. Nothing happens with the turnover. And Kirby Vanderkamp will have short room to punt the ball away.
Yeah, he had Brundridge open now. Maybe Brundridge only catches touchdown passes today.
It's like Chris Carter.
Yeah, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns, but that one just overthrown. And now you, deep in your end zone, you got Josh Stewart back there just waiting.
And there's a flag down. They don't have all 15 yards to work with. Stewart at the 45. Remember, there's a marker down here. Stewart broke out of a tackle. He's in the open field. He broke another tackle. 40. He's at the 30. Josh Stewart is going to go. A touchdown on the punt return. Remember, there's a marker down, though.
There's 2 down. There's 2 different infractions on this play. He is dangerous.
Special.
How many tackles he just broke to get in the end zone in that one? So Mike Gundy talking about.
There were 2 fouls during the play. During the return, illegal block in the back, number 89 of the receiving team. That penalty is declined. Offside, number 26, the receiving team, 5-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
Let's stress, it's not enough for the first down. It was 4th and 7. It will be 4th and 2, but more operating room for Kirby Vanderkamp.
Yeah, but it's also, are they going to punt the ball again to one of the most dangerous return men in the league, in the country? I don't know how he gets through that one. Now he stays on his feet. Now he breaks this tackle, leaves him in the rearview mirror. 1 cut. He thought he was looking at his 3rd punt return for a touchdown this season.
Had a personal escort, Teddy Johnson, running along with. I think they're going to take the block of the back.
The offside on the receiving team is declined. The illegal block in the back, number 89, will be enforced 10 yards from the spot of foul. First down, Iowa State.
I think that's the decision is don't kick it to him again.
That's exactly what Paul Rhodes was hoping to get, is to eliminate.
28-20. Both teams have had a possession here in the 3rd quarter. Oof, great reflection off the sunglasses of a packed house here at Jack Trice Stadium.
You need those sunglasses today. That's still a bright sun overlooking this stadium.
On the 41, Roland on the handoff, and Roland to the outside, continuing to rack up big numbers in the running game today. Desmond Roland to the Iowa State 45. 14 yards puts him at 100 on the button. Another goal for Roland, breaking 2 tackles on a rumble up the middle. Inside the Iowa State 30 to the 28. Jared Brackens stops him there.
And the tackling is just really spotty right now for Iowa State. I mean, here's your middle linebacker right here, George. He gets taken out of the play just by the action. Doesn't even get blocked on the play.
3 receivers right, but they don't look to the receivers. They give the ball to Roland again on a 3rd straight run. Roland goes down, blasted by Jeremiah George.
Well, you can see that they're leaning on the run game right now. With the wind, the way that Chelf is throwing the football right now, it's the running game that's taken over. Two backs in the backfield right now, sandwiching Chelf, getting a little bit more lead blocking in there for it. Here it is.
A career day for Roland. The quarterback, Chelf, will keep the ball here with Roland at 121 yards. Now Chelf around the left side, tucked it under the 21. Might officially spotted at the 22. It's 3rd and 4. Thinking field goal, Ben Grogan's long as 39. That's what it could be, but it's into the win.
He's missed, I think, 6 of them so far this year, too.
The shorties last week, he missed against TCU. Chelf to throw, 3rd down. Low bullet, zips it on the slant, and how about that catch? Throw and catch, Chelf to Jawan Seals.
Jawan Seals, he had to go low to catch it. Probably a good job in the wind here to go low right now, just in a quick slant.
And a quick play. Roland at the middle, inside the 10 to the 7. They started it at the 14 on that snap, gaining half the yards they needed to get to pay dirt.
Desmond Roland taking advantage of the opportunities getting here today. Over 100 yards right now. A lot of quick hitters just like that one.
2nd down. Roland again on the quick hitter, but can't run out of the ankle tackle. Jeremiah George was there. Mitchell Myers on the defensive line as well. There goes Myers off the field.
Crowd coming alive as you would expect here in this important 3rd down situation.
3 and 8 today for the Cowboys on 3rd down. They need 4. At the Iowa State 8, keeping. And Chelf is hit, down he goes after a gain of only 2. Jeremiah George again.
That time George wasn't going to let him get away from him. I mean, he had his eyes on him all the way. On the option read, he had the quarterback all the way. Here he is. Just reading it all the way right now, unblocked. He's not going to miss that tackle. Not the leading tackler in the Big 12. Not with one on 3rd down here as they go in to try to score.
Freshman Ben Grogan has 3 misses outside 40 yards. Inside 40, he's 6 of 9. His long is 39. This kick is 23. Michael Rickenstein is the holder. And Connor Simcoe the snapper.
Play a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Mike Gundy, the head coach for Oklahoma State.
The defense elected to decline the penalty. It's 4th down at the previous spot.
Well, I think Mike Gundy wanted just a better angle.
Sure.
You know, for him to kick. And Paul Rhodes like, no, we want him to kick from that angle. Let's put the pressure on him. So some good strategy back and forth.
Go left to right. 23 yards. Over the north wind, Ben Grogan stretches the lead to 11. Bisecting the post on the kick for Grogan, the freshman. Desmond Roland in Clint Chelf Stadium, Jack Trice Field. Upon its opening in 1975, the stadium was renamed Jack Trice Stadium. There's the statue. It was renamed in 1997. Ben Grogan short field goal, and then a bounce on the kickoff by Kip Smith, and Devondre Neely in a whole lot of trouble there. Had to field it because it was a free ball, and down he goes. And right now we have Lauren McKeeman standing by with a Fox College football game break.
Mark, Minnesota and Nebraska. Watch this trickery. Philip Nelson, the quarterback, was wide left and then moves under center for the quarterback sneak. Really fooled him there. The Golden Gophers have upset on the mind, beating 24th ranked Nebraska 27-13 in the 3rd quarter, guys.
And here it's an 11-point Oklahoma State lead. They've led by as many as 21. A kick off into the wind. Does not turn into good field position. Got held up, took a funny bounce. And Iowa State will go backwards here with a penalty.
False start. Number 11, offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
E.J. Bibbs, the tight end. By the way, the south scoreboard is working now. The scoreboard in the direction where Iowa State will be driving here in the third quarter.
You can see just how this wind has affected this game. I mean, that bounce on the kickoff, you think you get good field position. Look where they're starting. You know, after the penalty inside the 10.
Throws it out left side. This is caught by Neely. Ahead of steam, and then a hit you could hear. Caleb Levy.
That's the speed. That's the speed of Levy, just getting sideline to sideline.
How about Dajuan Lowe there as well?
Yeah, good angle that time by Levy to get him down.
The penalty yardage gained back. Roach hands the ball off, and Shamil Gary up in run support. Touchdown, Devondre Neely.
I'm just going to tell you, if you're starting free safety right there, Shamil Gary is making a play for a loss, that means he's really snooping around the line of scrimmage. It means their safeties are creeping up again, and you just think, when is the shot coming to take the ball deep down the field and really make those safeties pay for being that nosy around the line of scrimmage?
Shamil Gary, second on the Oklahoma State defense in tackles, first in pass breakups. Levy, the leading tackler. Back to pass, Roach, third and 11 to the sideline. Patman got a piece of the ball.
Tyler Patman was thinking pick 6 that time.
Yep.
He's been a good pickup. He's a kid that graduated at Kansas so that he wouldn't lose any eligibility to play his final year here. That's what he was thinking. He was thinking that ball was underthrown. Maybe a little better angle and a little tip. He might have had their second pick 6 of the day.
Looking to go to Albert Gary. Patman in the neighborhood of his second interception of the season. He had 6 as a 3-year starter for the Jayhawks. Ruby Vanderkamp standing on his goal line when fielding the snap. This is a returnable punt. It's Stewart bobbled it, and down he goes. Stewart had a chance, was thinking about it before he secured the possession, and then blown up by Spencer Thornton, the long snapper.
I think you're exactly right here, Mark. I think he really thought, okay, you know what, I got a chance for a return right
this week against TCU. Watch Josh Stewart in action on a punt return.
And look at all the help he gets, too. Picks up about 8 good blocks. This one where 3 players go down from TCU. Zach Gregg at the end there. One final block, couple more knockdowns, and Josh Stewart, 95 yards later, was in pay dirt. They did a good job of throttling Joshua Stewart up today. Only 3 catches right now for 10 yards.
The longest punt return in FBS since Dustin Harris for A&M last year had a 96-yard punt return against South Carolina State as there's a big run by Roland. Desmond Roland on first down. This drive starts at the 33. Kenneth Lynn with a tackle after a 9-yard tote for Roland.
You can see Mike Yurcich, the new offensive coordinator here, is saying, you know what, we're going to continue to ride the running game right now.
Roland breaks through the line of scrimmage, has the 50, spins off a tackle at the 45, and now he's got a lot of room. Roland to the 30, has a convoy of blockers, and Roland will take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma State.
A couple good blocks by Tracy Moore on the outside. Desmond Roland really is the offense right now for Oklahoma State. He's the offense, but the tackling was just atrocious by Iowa State on that run and really the entire third quarter right now.
Desmond Roland, 58 yards on the touchdown run. And Oklahoma State can extend the lead to 18 on the Ben Grogan extra point. Coming into the day, Desmond Roland has run for 147 yards this year.
I mean, we're going to see a number of just missed tackles all the way around right now. I mean, you're going to see one right there, then you're going to see there, then 3, right, then 4. I mean, I just could keep putting circles up there, but I mean, Desmond Roland made a miss, but really Paul Rhodes told us, you know, we just give up too many points, and you can see why right now. I mean, that's not good tackling. Baylor, Baylor rolled up on him last week in Waco because they're a machine.
Baylor's doing that to everybody.
They're doing that to everybody. But this is just, you know, you got the pads on. This is just tackling 1-2 right now. Now, Roland's having a career day. He's almost got 200 yards, but I mean, Iowa State's not helping him out at all.
plays, 67 yards, 35-second drive. The BMW Ultimate scoring drive. Held up into the wind of the kick, running up the field. It was Devondre Neely, 15-yard line, 25. 6:33 to go on the third as we give you the Mattress Firm all-access update. Career best 195 yards on the ground for Desmond Roland. 3 touchdowns. Oklahoma State came into the game 95th in FBS, averaging 136 yards rushing per game as a team.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I mean, they haven't been a good running team this year. They lost Joseph Randall, who's with the Cowboys. Haven't really found a guy that could do it. And look, he's been averaging 4 yards a carry, and today he's averaging 10 yards a carry. I'd say the bad tackling of the Cyclones is a big part of it.
Rohach faked the sweep. Throws caught. Bundridge stops on a dime, 35. Scoots up the sideline. Shamil Gary pushed him out. J.C. Pearson's on the sideline. J.C.
Yeah, you know, just to comment about what you guys are talking about, you know, that Iowa State defense, you can't put that on the coordinator, Wally Burnham. Remember, he told us they were either going to bring a lot or drop a lot. They've been dropping a lot, and it's good against the pass, and it should be good against the run because all eyes are on the ball, but he can't go out and tackle for him. Like Baldy was saying, too many missed tackles, but the calls are the right calls to make.
Well, they've been down by 21 and put together some rallies. Let's see what they do here. Running Chantrell Johnson. And upended. He had a lane to run, but was upended after a 7-yard rush to the 45.
Well, one thing about Chantrell Johnson is if you can get him on the perimeter, he is an explosive player. He's overcome some injuries in his time with the Cyclones, but he's had some big days on this offense.
Joe Mitchell, a linebacker from Katy, stopped him after the 7-yard run. Chantrell Johnson again, cut back, goes down yardage, spins to midfield, makes one low. Lowe's from Midwest City, Oklahoma, third Oklahoma State defensive tackle.
Yeah, and I think if they're going to get back in this game, and they were down 21-0 and got back into it, they need to get Quentin Bundridge involved. He has big play ability at receiver. We've seen him catch the 2 touchdown catches today. The one guy I think you can go to. He can beat man coverage. He jumps for the ball well. He's in the slot right now. There he is.
Johnson has went for 33 yards today. They don't hand it off to him. It's a play fake and a throw and an incompletion with Patman on coverage of E.J. Bibbs, the tight end. Rohach, the incompletion. The redshirt freshman coming on when Richardson appeared to get hurt in the second quarter. 6 of 12, 52 yards today. Midfield, second down. Chantrell Johnson for 4. Jimmy Bean on the tackle. Can they convert now on a 3rd down here, Baldy? 3rd and 6.
Well, that's where you hope the redshirt freshman can grow up. I mean, it's his 2nd college game. He got a chance to play a little bit at Baylor last week. 2nd college game. Got a lot of reps in practice. See if he can take the practice reps to the game right now.
38% for the year on 3rd downs, only 29% today. Rojas throws, and it's caught by Ernst Brunn. Oh, the ball squirts out. And Oklahoma State has a chance for a return at the 40. On the return to the 35-yard line. At the 30, down the sideline, Tyler Johnson finding the end zone. Touchdown on the turnover.
Second defensive touchdown of the day for the Cowboys, and that is just great defensive play, stripping that ball out of the hands and then picking it up and scoring with
Throwing
it.
on the field is a touchdown. Previous play is under further review.
Ernst Brunn was right at the 1st down marker. The ball came out, and it ends up being about a 58-yard return.
Well, there's Bibbs, and now that ball just gets pulled right out. Stripped, there it is. It's clean. And now the ball's on the ground. Tyler Johnson picks it up, former outside linebacker, now defensive end, runs like an outside linebacker. Picks up a little bit of a convoy.
Joe Mitchell, by the way, the one who stripped it.
Yeah.
Joe Mitchell, a senior linebacker we noted earlier for a tackle. He's from Katy.
Well, Glenn Spencer, came in today. The defense had taken the ball away 16 times. Got 2 today. He'd love to get 3 a game. And when your turnovers lead to touchdowns on that play, I'd say your defense is playing some winning football.
He came into the game leading the Big 12 in turnover margin this season, +7. Now they're a +8 for the season after today's action. 54 officially on the fumble return. Assuming that it stands.
Well, there's
I would say based on the replay it will.
Gilbert right there. He's got the 1 touchdown. Johnson's got the other one. Those guys are going to have a lot to celebrate on that ride home to Stillwater tonight. You can see this mentality, this transition defense mentality. All right, you get the ball. Now, how many white shirts can we get around to help them lead the way into that end zone?
Ashton Lamp did a DB through a nice block. Sophomore from Fort Worth. Alan Eck, the referee. Tyler Johnson, top left, ran it in. Mike Gundy, you saw bottom left, head coach of Oklahoma State. Now there's Ernst Brunn, the young man who fumbled.
Yeah, Mike Gundy told us this week he thought that defensively they were about 60% there, where they could really go compete against Baylor and Texas Tech and some of the schools that they got to come play with the defense that had 7 returning senior starters.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Tyler Johnson from Haskell, Oklahoma. Leads Oklahoma State in sacks this year with 4, but there he does it with the fumble return for a touchdown and a despondent, understandably so, Ernst Brunn on the sideline for Iowa State. Lonely, lonely feeling. .17 to go in the third with Ben Grogan on for the extra point. And with that, Oklahoma State has put together a 17-point third quarter. 4:17 remaining in the third.
Well, okay, so Brunn's got the ball. Now Joe Mitchell's going to get this ball out and just strip it. And that's what you should do. You've got a lot of bodies to the ball. One guy gets the ball out before he gets down. Tyler Johnson picks it up. He's thinking about scoring all the way, too. You get to the sideline where you can get all the interference in front of you. It's the first thing you're taught. When you pick up a fumble or an interception, get to the sideline. Nobody's going to come from that angle. And then get all the protection you can in front of you. That's just the way you practice it.
There's Joe Mitchell, the senior from Katy, who had the strip. You notice that number 27, Lindell Johnson, was holding up Brunn before Mitchell stripped the ball. And then Lindell Johnson came down and was part of that convoy of blockers.
And conversely, they lead in turnover margin. Mike Gundy has a ball security drill every day in practice as well to take care of the ball.
Albert Gary on the return to the 25. 4:12 to go in the third quarter. Nightly on Fox Sports Live. Join Jay Onright, Dan O'Toole, along with Donovan McNabb, Andy Roddick, and Carissa Thompson as they bring you all the scores, news, and highlights you need. Catch Fox Sports Live nightly on Fox Sports 1. Talk about Mike Gundy and the ball security drills at practice. Keep in mind that Oklahoma State, since 2009, second most turnovers forced, 146 coming into the game today. Only Oregon has forced more turnovers over the last 4.5 seasons.
Oh, yeah. Last time they were here, they were undefeated, and they were leading the nation in takeaways at that time.
Rojas hand the ball off to Devondre Neely, a run around left end of the 32. With Ryan Simmons stopping him, officially just 6 to the 31.
Well, we don't know the condition of Sam Richardson. He hasn't returned since he was knocked woozy on that scramble of his. But, if Iowa State's going to compete here in the Big 12, they've got to establish themselves a quarterback that they can build around. That's what the good teams and the winning teams do. And Brent Rojas is getting a good opportunity here today to get some valuable reps.
He gets hit pretty hard with 3:41 to go in the third. Daquan Lowe, marker down.
Offside, number 99 defense, lining up in the neutral zone at the snap. The penalties decline. The play resulted in a first down.
Hard to miss when Calvin Barnett is offside at 6'2", 300. Mammoth defensive tackle from Tulsa.
He is. And, you know, he's a junior college transfer, and he's in his second year here. And, you know, whether it's Richardson or Rojas right now, I mean, they're going against a defense that features 7 senior starters. Right? A lot of experience on this side of the ball. They've seen a lot of things in this league from really good quarterbacks.
Albuquerque in motion. And Rojas is throwing down the seam looking for E.J. Bibbs. To follow up on your point, there are 7 players on that Oklahoma State defense who have at least 15 or more career starts.
Yeah. And look, I mean, they've got Bibbs wide open right now. He misses him. He makes the wrong throw. Put a little bit more air on it. Chance to catch your tight end down the seam in a big play. Got him earlier in the first quarter on one from Richardson. Like to have that throw back.
For the 37. And again, it's Rojas to throw, and he is brought down for a sack. Anthony Rogers. Haven't seen much of him, but Anthony Rogers brings the heat on the rush.
Really one of the few times today that they've been able to, they've gotten to the quarterback. That's Jamison Locke there, the left guard trying to defend him.
Lost back to the 30. You talk about Iowa State competing in the Big 12. They've been to a bowl game 3 times in 4 years under Paul Rhodes. Back-to-back bowl appearances. Lost them both 6 and 7 seasons. And now once again, Rojas in trouble and sacked for the second straight play. Tyler Johnson and Ryan Simmons. If Johnson gets a part of that, he'll add to his team high total.
Well, I mean, just look at this defense here. I mean, this is their scramble defense where nobody has their hand on the ground. They don't know where they're coming from, so they don't really know what the blocking scheme is. And all you're trying to do is get exactly what they get. One guy free. One guy free, and you make the quarterback pull the ball down, and then really the race to him is on.
Big punt. Wow, Vanderkamp.
That's what the win will do for you.
He is on the Ray Guy Award watch list, and Ray Guy would be proud of that kick. 65 yards out at the Oklahoma State 11. In the Big 12, you've got undefeated Texas Tech and Baylor. Undefeated in the conference and overall at the top. Texas 3-0 and playing at TCU tonight. 4-2 their overall record. And Oklahoma State trying to keep pace. Remember, Oklahoma, Texas Tech will play later on this afternoon.
Yeah, you know, and then Oklahoma State will travel to Lubbock next week. They got a 6 o'clock kick against the Red Raiders, and you know they still have Texas and Baylor and Oklahoma, so the meat of their schedule is all coming up.
A running play on first down. Desmond Roland goes over 200 yards. He's driven forward on the tackle. Nick Crone. And Roland becomes the first, if this play stands, he would be the first 200-yard rusher for Oklahoma State since Kendall Hunter over 3 years ago, October 23rd, 2010 against Nebraska.
Personal foul, tripping, number 67 offense.
Well, so we ran it. I mean, that's what a good coach is going to tell you that they did, but that's not what Oklahoma State is known for.
They're not going to have to punt it here into the wind at the end of the third quarter.
That's the end of the third quarter.
A long trip to the other end of the field to change sides. Kim Smith will punt when we come back. Oklahoma State on the road. They get a big third quarter, and they open the lead up to 45-20 at Ames, Iowa, as you're watching Fox College Football. Desmond Roland, 201 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. Sam Richardson, the Iowa State quarterback, hurt in the second quarter. The Oklahoma State defense has scored twice today, and Caleb Levy, the middle linebacker, has 10 tackles. And this is a tough job fielding it by Justin Coleman, dragged backwards. After the Kip Smith punt.
There's a whistle.
First play of the fourth quarter. Rolling on the field. The receiver's forward progress was stopped before the ball came out. First down.
38-yard line is where Iowa State will begin the drive.
Well, first of all, the wind has been a factor in every one of these kickoffs and punts. today. Yeah, he never actually goes down. But they had ruled him that his forward progress had stopped. I give him effort for staying on his feet.
How about Oklahoma State in that quarter scoring 17 points when they were going into the win? Oh, Albert Gary was able to get out of jail once, but then he's run down by Ryan Simmons on the reverse.
And really it was Tyler Johnson that really bubbled him that time. Really stayed home, played disciplined defense on the backside, and once he slowed him down, the pursuit caught up to him. So Tyler Johnson, once again, is an all-effort player.
The loss, 7 yards. Throwing over the middle, Rohach, and it's picked. Or is it incomplete? No, it's an incompletion. Lydell Johnson.
I think Glenn Spencer told us he'd love to get one takeaway at once every 25 plays, where they were almost on schedule with this one. Threw right into coverage this time.
Lydell Johnson right there.
Never saw him. He was looking from the other side on the crossing route. Never saw Johnson just sitting on him.
Timeout. Are they going to review this?
Prior to the snap, timeout, Oklahoma State.
14-15 to go.
I think it was a coach's decision not to put him out there today, and I don't want to say anything further that it could have been any other issue except for that injury suffered in the week of practice.
Sam Richardson, the quarterback, was hurt in the second quarter. Grant Rohach has been throwing ever since, and Rohach throws, and Justin Gilbert jumped the route again and came close to a second pick six today.
The same side of the field as his first one. It's just going to be again. I mean, Gilbert's out here, left cornerback on the play, just playing zone coverage right now, coming into his area. Makes a break on this ball. That's a long break, too. He was about 10 yards off him, but he saw it, and he thought he had his second pick six of the day.
Has 9 career interceptions. Vanderkamp, oh man, the wind knocked that down. Hit at the 50 and bounced a couple of yards.
And old Tim Wakefield knuckleball on that one. Affecting the day that Josh Stewart is having.
And affecting the day that Kirby Vanderkamp, one of the best punters in the nation, is having. Justin Gilbert nearly had an interception, and a couple of plays prior, remember that Lendell Johnson over the middle nearly had an interception. Look how close it was.
Yeah, here he comes, gets both hands on, he's coming to the ground, and then just slips out right there as he tries to cover it up. That's why that play was reviewed. Once they saw that, they realized it was a drop.
And Desmond Roland will continue to put up big numbers with Mitchell Meyer stopping him on the first down run. Roland's day is at 203 yards and counting.
And when you think about it, I mean, Stewart's got 3 catches for 10 yards. Chelf hasn't thrown for 100 yards yet. And Oklahoma State has 45 points on the board. I mean, there are certain things that Iowa State has done that have been good today. Stopping Desmond Roland has not been one of them.
Jevin Miller after the short run by Roland on his 23rd rushing attempt of the day.
He's earning a scholarship this afternoon.
Came into the game with 6 career touchdowns in his time at Oklahoma State. 3 today. Had a great 58-yard run in the third quarter. Third down pass and deflected the line, so Chelf's pass is incomplete.
Look, on a day when it's tough to throw, when the wind is blowing and it gets like this in the Midwest, it's nice that you can hand it off and throw for 200 yards or run for 200 yards. There's the ball tipped
by Walter Woods III.
Right in the pass lane. We've seen that happen a couple of times today.
With 13 minutes remaining. Kip Smith. He has the wind at his back, and it was still a shank. Wow. It's a nice bounce and a lot of room on the sideline. Now that's closed down. Justin Coleman. And here comes a marker at the end as well. So lots of things to discuss. Mike Gundy talking to Kip Smith about the punt. The officials discussing the penalty. 9 penalties on Iowa State today, 4 on Oklahoma State. They've all been in the second half, those penalties on Oklahoma State.
During the return, personal foul, illegal block below the waist, number 23 of the receiving team. 15-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
There's a timeout on the field. It's a 45-20 lead. This is the punt by Kip Smith. Interesting. Oklahoma State up 45-20.
And on a day where they couldn't throw it very well, it's nice to be able to hand it off to Desmond Roland to gain the kind of yards that he has. Look at that. Almost 9 yards a carry. He's got the hat trick, get the ball in the end zone. He's been the best player on the field today.
At the 16, a handoff up the middle. Chantrell Johnson for Iowa State. Desmond Roland, 205 yards, best rushing day since Kendall Hunter back in October of 2010 for Oklahoma State.
We wanted to put it back up there so you can look at it, just let you know that that wasn't a mistake. Yeah, he ran for over 200 yards and almost 9 yards a carry.
There's a throw to Albert Gary, who slips and goes down before attaining the first down for Iowa State, a yard short. Well, 6'2", 210. Roland's just been able to get going downhill today on some of his runs, breaking through tackles.
Yeah, you know, guys, I think that's a big credit to Mike Gundy that this Oklahoma State team is not winning the way that they normally win. And, you know, there's been defense this year, but then today offensively, like Baldy was saying, they're a passing team and they don't really put up huge numbers, but to go with what's working for you and show that you're flexible enough to do that is a great job by that Oklahoma State coaching staff.
JC, their defense this year as Rohach loses the ball. This may be another turnover forced by the Glenn Spencer defense. It is. They recover to the 21.
He hit his own man with the ball. That's the third takeaway for Oklahoma State. That's what their goal is every single game. We'll see what Rohach does with this as he keeps it. It looks like he hit his own man. He does. He hits Amoyle right there.
Although I think maybe Calvin Barnett was able to get a paw on the ball. Let's see. Did he stick that? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. He gets it pulled out. Calvin Barnett making a big play. This has been what Oklahoma State has been just thriving on this year, is takeaways and big plays from their defense.
Lyndell Johnson, I think, ended up getting on the ball as Desmond Roland runs for the 15. That squirts out. He's down. You know, this Oklahoma State defense, this has a chance to be their best statistically in the Big 12 era in Stillwater. At 18.3 points per game allowed. It's their best scoring defense since 1987 as it stands right now. They've still got to play Texas Tech next week and Baylor down the road, which will test their defensive numbers. Those are fun on the keeper to the wide side of the field by Chelf.
Well, when we asked Glenn Spencer, the new defensive coordinator, about it, who was elevated from the linebacker coach when he took over from Bill Young, he said, remember now, in this Big 12, we don't have RG3 and Ryan Tannehill and Brandon Weeden and some of those guys that we've had to defend, you know, all starting in the NFL. So it's been a little bit of a down year quarterback-wise in this conference, but senior-dominated defense.
First and goal, power running inside by Desmond Roland. Jeremiah George stops him at the 3. We understand this is the first time since 2006 that Oklahoma State, we're being told from their sports information staff, first time since 2006 they've had 2 defensive touchdowns in a game. 10:35 to go. And knocking on the door. This was set up by a turnover and a short field starting at the 21, and Roland powering in for the 4th time today.
What an amazing afternoon. He gets a good lead block this time from Seton. And he just puts his head down. Look, he's going right into the teeth of their defense. David Irving, their starting defensive tackle, runs him right over. I wonder if Desmond Roland, when he woke up and was at that pregame meal this morning, eating his steak and eggs, if he thought, yeah, this is a day for it to go over 204 touchdowns. Why not?
Ben Grogan, the extra point. It's a 24-0 edge in the second half for Oklahoma State. They lead 52-20. They got a short field because Calvin Barnett forced a fumble. Oklahoma State recovered at the 20.
Left guard for the Baltimore Ravens. They're in a bye week this week. He's got a Super Bowl winning ring on, and really an important cog in that offensive powerhouse that they were in the postseason. But really a very steady, good player, and an Iowa State great alumna.
Touchback on the kickoff by Kip Smith. Game break time. Here's Laura McKeeman.
A crazy one in the ACC. Number 7 Miami struggling with Wake Forest. And there you see Duke Johnson. He's going out to the left. He's going to get the ball over the pylon, but it looks like his body is out of bounds. They're going to review the play, and then they say that the ball is at the 1-yard line with less than a minute left. Miami trailing 17-21. Wake Forest still in the lead in the fourth quarter with less than a minute left, guys.
So the Demon Deacons, 21-17, 4-point lead, final minute.
Yeah.
That would shake things up more at the top.
Not just shake it up, but don't they have Florida State coming up?
They've got Florida State, number 2 in the BCS after Bama. A catch at the 30-yard line by Justin Coleman. Broke out of a tackle, up the sideline to midfield. Joe Mitchell. Mitchell forced a fumble earlier.
Well, at this stage of the game, you're just looking for positives that you can take away. And for Grant Rohach, that was a good throw. Put his foot in the ground, released it, threw the ball with a little bit of spin on it. There you go, second one in a row.
23 yards. Did Ernst Braun make the catch?
Yeah. Yep. Sometimes you just go, you know what, let me just get back to what I did when I was younger, just threw the ball in the backyard. I know my mechanics are good. Let me just play with some confidence here.
Marker down. Emmanuel Ogba was chasing Rohach, and then Rohach throws it to the sideline. The toss over to Shontel Johnson. Might have a lineup in the neutral zone here on Oklahoma State, which means the play would stand. The penalty would be declined.
Offside, number 89 defense, lining up in the neutral zone at the snap. The penalty is declined. The play resulted in a first down.
Sam Wren, the player, in question.
Not many penalties for Mike Gundy today.
At the 35 of Oklahoma State for the year. 58 penalty yards, 6 penalties, and there's one by Rohach, and Rohach down to the 20.
Shows a little bit there. Way to pull the ball down and take off with it. Saw the opening in the rush, just a 4-man rush, saw a little split to the right. Took it, wasn't content just to go down. Fighting for every blade of grass out there. A couple completions and a good run right now.
First down to the 22. Iowa State hasn't scored in the second half. They're on a drive here. Rohach with space to run. 15-yard line. Slips down to the 11.
Well, for Paul Rhodes, there's no way to sugarcoat the second half of what they've done. I mean, they cut the lead to 28-20. And really, they haven't played well in any aspect of the game. This is the best drive that they've had in the third quarter or in the second half.
And they're going to run it again with Shontel Johnson hurtling out of a tackle of the 12 and inside the 10.
You'd mentioned to Paul this week, Mark, that, you know, they had lost so many close games this year, yet won so many close games a year ago, and what the difference was.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
There were 2 fouls, illegal substitution, defense, that penalty is declined. Offside, number 58, defense, 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Brian, 2 years ago, Iowa State led the nation, tied with Kansas State for most one-possession wins. They won 5 games by 6 or less. This year, the most one-possession losses. 4 games dropped by 8 points or fewer for Iowa State this year.
Yeah, heartbreakers to Texas. Probably the best game that they played all year.
Shontel Johnson stacked up, bounces out, driving to the 3. Ryan Simmons brings him down. Heartbreaking loss to Texas. Dropped one to Northern Iowa from FCS. Played Texas Tech well. Yeah, opening game of the year to Northern Iowa. 2 years ago, they were able to, as Paul Rhodes said, reach out, put their hand on the throat of those games. And that has not happened this year. Rohach keeps and goes down to the 5. lost yardage. Lindell Johnson.
I thought it was interesting that neither coach, Gundy or Rhodes, made much of the game 2 years ago here, whether it was the upset win by Iowa State against then the undefeated number 2 ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys. And really, Paul Rhodes didn't want to use it as the signature win in his program since he said these kids don't, 2 years ago was like a lifetime for these guys. All about what have you done for me lately?
From the 6 on 3rd down, and Rohach is in trouble and can't escape. And a marker down, though. Might be a horse collar.
Maybe he just wrestled him too hard to the ground.
Sam Wren. Sam Wren had 14.5 sacks.
Horse collar tackle, number 89, defense. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic, first down.
They're intrigued by Sam Wren. 14.5 sacks as a JUCO last year at Arizona Western Community College. Horse collar here, though.
Yeah, here he comes on a twist stunt. He's got his hand in the back of the jersey, and really it's just a safety issue right there. We've seen injuries occur because of that. That's the right call. Hand down the back of the jersey and then pulling him backwards. It wasn't intentional by any means.
First and goal to the 3. Jeff Woody. The senior has 4 touchdowns this year.
Woody's an amazing kid. I mean, he's an academic All-American. He's a pre-med student. I think he's going to finish his career right now with, what he's got, 15 career touchdowns.
Maybe another one.
Trying to get another one.
He stopped short, and now here come the penalty flags. It's 15 touchdowns for Woody, 2 in the air, 13 on the ground.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 98, defense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
From Bearden, Arkansas, Davidell Collins.
Yeah, it looks like he's right in the picture here. Yeah, well, that punch will basically get you sometimes thrown out if they see it, certainly penalized, and so you get a fresh set of downs here from inside the 2-yard line.
Woody will take another crack at it. Battering rams into the end zone. That's his 14th career rushing touchdown. .7:10 to go. First points of the second half for Iowa State.
Too little, too late. But Woody does have a knack for it. The best drive that they've had since they came out of the locker room to start the second half.
Old Ned had an extra point blocked earlier today by the Cowboys' James Castleman. But puts that one right through. 52-27 after the second half. Great fans here in Ames, Iowa. Not much to cheer about, though, in the second half, as Oklahoma State had scored 24 unanswered.
That cannon hasn't gone off too often. I mean, that second half here, Iowa State, it's hard to believe, but they punted 4 times, they fumbled it twice. Now they just scored a late touchdown. Anticipating the onside kick here from Oklahoma State, and they should.
Marceo.
Paul fell out. Kind of gave away their intention.
Charlie Brown and Lucy.
Yeah. Somebody just pulled the ball right out from underneath him. One of the nastiest tricks in all of television, in cartoons and folklore.
Now the onside kick. And it's picked up. Oh, and Charlie Moore has a receiving touchdown today. He's got a chance to run one back here, tiptoeing down the sideline, finally knocked out.
Well, it's a gamble, and that ball bounced perfectly into Charlie Moore's hands. Now you're all playing for the bounce here. Charlie Moore in the back line. Comes right to him. By that point, 6 Cyclone players had already passed him, so really, once again, Oklahoma State with great field position. Wouldn't expect them to even put the ball in the air for one play.
Well, nothing will top Chris Boswell from Rice. We had that game against Houston for the Bayou Bucket earlier this year. The greatest onside kick that we've seen.
Go Google that one.
J.W. Walsh getting time now. and hands the ball off on first down inside of 7 minutes to play.
Tell them to huddle up here. They want to take some time off the clock, slow it down a little bit. Get out of here with the win. And we mentioned they get ready for Texas Tech next week, and we'll get a chance to watch them later today here on Fox in Norman, Oklahoma. One of the great turnarounds in the nation this year is what's going on with Texas Tech.
Cliff Kingsbury. What a fantastic performance by Kingsbury, the former Tech quarterback, now their head coach. That was Jeremy Smith, by the way, finally getting a carry today. Came in as the leading rusher, and now Smith will run again. The last time a player had 4 rushing touchdowns, Desmond Roland has 4 today. Joseph Randall had 4 against Oklahoma last year.
Yep.
If Desmond Roland had a chance to get to 5, which presumably he will not, the last guy to have 5 rushing touchdowns, how about Barry Sanders, 1988 for Oklahoma State.
Doesn't surprise me.
Against Kansas.
Barry Sanders may be watching this game from some corner of the earth, thinking about that day with 5 rushing touchdowns against the Jayhawks.
He's got so many great days to think about.
Well, we have so many great days watching.
The middle of the handoff. Oh, big collision at the goal line.
That's good. That's good fight.
That's bowling up by Jeremiah George right there.
It's good to see. Making them earn everything that they get right now, not giving it to them there inside the 2-yard line. Way to get underneath them. It is all leverage. Low man wins, and then you get your legs and all the power you get from lifting all those weights and doing all the squats and finish them off like that.
Approaching 5 minutes remaining. Walsh will give the ball to Smith, and he leaps in. It's a touchdown for Oklahoma State. An extra point will equal a season high in points for Oklahoma State. They had 59 against Lamar earlier this year.
Again, a good lead block by Seaton. Comes in there in the muscle package. Some good running today by Oklahoma State. Some good run blocking up front from that group. Brandon Webb, Koenig, and Parker.
Oh, blocked extra point. Won't be a season high in points. David Irving, 6'7" in the middle of the D-line. Ben Grogan, first missed extra point this year.
And David Irving this year moving from defensive end to defensive tackle. Paul Roach throwing his arm around him right there.
It's time right now for the Principal Financial Edge of the Game, play of the game. This occurs in the 3rd quarter. Iowa State completes a pass to Ernst Brund, and then you see Joe Mitchell strip the ball out, and here goes Tyler Johnson, 54 yards to the end zone.
Yeah, for the 2nd time today, Oklahoma State gets a defensive touchdown. That's always going to help the cause. Great effort by Johnson to get the ball all the way in there. Really, the identity of this team right now is the defense and the big plays that they continue to make. They've got 19 takeaways this year. The sacks that come with it, the touchdowns.
To the back of the end zone for the touchback with 4:59 remaining. Tyler Johnson, you saw the play of the game. He scored the touchdown earlier. 58-27 is the lead.
He's still talking about it.
From the crew that brings you America's #1 pregame show comes Fox Football Daily with all the news, opinions, and insight you need on the NFL and college football. Fox Football Daily, weeknights at 6 Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1. Oklahoma State will push their record once this goes final to 6-1. They'll be 3-1 in the Big 12 with just that hiccup in Morgantown, West Virginia. And an inside pass, inside caught and immediately down. Trace Clark on the tackle of Quentin Bundridge.
Well, Quentin Bundridge has given us some highlights today. He's got 2 circus catches in the end zone against a really good corner. and Justin Gilbert been the highlight of the offense for Iowa State today.
4 grabs for 50 yards, and Rojas will step into a throw to the sideline. Was looking for Tad Ekby. Iowa State will be 1-6 once it goes final, 0-4 in the Big 12. And would have to run the table to make it a season of bowl eligibility for the 3rd time in a row. The only other time that Iowa State's had 3 straight seasons end with an appearance at a bowl game. Dan McCarney, what a great run he had here in Ames, now of course at North Texas. And Dan McCarney led him to a bowl 2000, 2001, 2002, the only other 3 straight season run.
Dan McCarney still coaching his butt off there in Denton, Texas.
They're playing at Southern Miss today. Oh, that's a nice throw. Quint Mundridge, he's almost acting like, did he turn and lose it in the sun?
It was in his hands.
He's pointing up at it.
He is pointing up there. He just lost it. Beautiful throw.
There couldn't be any other explanation for it. And you see the gesture he was making with his hand. Been a busy day for Kirby Vanderkamp, punting for the 11th time. Bounces at the 50, having to punt into the wind. David Glidden will not get an opportunity to return. We'll get an opportunity, though, to send it to Laura McKeeman for a Fox College football game break.
Well, Mark, if you've been wondering what happened in the ACC with number 7 Miami and Wake Forest, here's how it went down. Duke Johnson with a 1-yard touchdown run, and then Miami with a late interception. The Canes hold on to avoid the upset. The final 24-21. Number 7 Miami on top, guys.
Big win for Miami.
Al Golden doing a fine job down there in South Florida to revitalize a once proud program.
Sweeping Jeremy Smith on this run with 4 minutes to go. The BCS top 10. First BCS standings out last week. Alabama, Florida State holding the highly sought after top 2 spots with Oregon 3rd, and they play UCLA later on. Ohio State 4th. Big matchup for Missouri against South Carolina. Stanford and Oregon State. Miami wins. Baylor playing Kansas tonight at 6 o'clock Central.
These games,
Oklahoma.
Yeah, Mark, these games just get bigger now. They mean a lot more weight in every one of them. Can Texas Tech continue to stay undefeated? Later today in Norman should be a good one. Can't wait to watch some of that. What J.W. Walsh can do.
And goes down inbounds with 3:22 to go after running for the first down. Coming up on many of our Fox Sports Network affiliates, we'll have North Carolina and Boston College afterwards. North Carolina has jumped out to an early 6-0 lead. Here, Oklahoma State in front 58-27 over Iowa State, about to run their record to 6-1. They're 19th in the BCS Baldy. They started the year as the media pick to be the Big 12 champions.
Yeah.
And in the preseason poll, they were 13. They've been as high as 11. They've fallen to as low as 22, and here they are at 19, and depending on what occurs in front of them.
They had a chance to move up a little bit today. People will look at the defense, the takeaways, the way that they ran the ball.
And boy, did they run the ball. Jeremy Smith forced backwards as we're inside of 3 minutes to go, JC.
Yeah, I mean, impressive win by Oklahoma State. And again, I mean, they're going to 6-1 right now, but a lot of people coming into this game were feeling that they weren't playing very well, that they weren't a good team because they weren't putting up the huge numbers offensively. But this is a good football team, man. Defensively, very impressed with the speed and the physicalness that they played with today. And then anytime they could run, a team can run the ball like they ran it today, going to have a lot of success. The passing game, it's always going to be there, and it's going to get better at Oklahoma State this year.
You betcha they're a good team. That defense, again, has 7 players with at least 15 starts and experience. Sean Lewis has the most at 38. You've got Shamil Gary and Dajuan Lowe back there with a ton of experience as well, with 30-plus starts.
Well, yeah, JC, I mean, the one thing that they can do is they can lock up and play man, really press man coverage against some of these, you know, bubble screen spread offenses out here. And if you could take some of those throws away and really challenge the quarterbacks, I think you can keep the score down in a lot of these games.
What will happen? How will they match up? It's a little down the road, and of course, no one likes to look ahead. But remember that Baylor has to go to Stillwater.
Oh, yeah.
Iowa State got the Baylor beat down last week, 71-7. Flared out. Oh, and Jeremy Smith. And they pounced back on it. Don't think that was a lateral, but just to make sure. Played it on the safe side.
Yeah, Mark, the only game that Baylor struggled in so far this year was Kansas State. That's what Kansas State did. You know, they really challenged them. They gave up a couple of big plays that Baylor gets on everybody, but otherwise, you know, they kept the score in range where they could have had an upset at some point. Larry Fedora there, North Carolina, the former offensive coordinator here for Oklahoma State under Mike Gundy. Went on to Southern Mississippi and success there in North Carolina.
Punt by Kip Smith into the end zone with 1 minute and 11 seconds remaining here in Ames. We have made note of the fact that Oklahoma State's next opponent is Texas Tech. They've got to play Kansas on the 9th, at Texas on November 16th. November 23rd, the weekend before Thanksgiving. They play host to Baylor and the Bedlam rivalry with Oklahoma the first Saturday in December.
That's what you call a backloaded schedule.
Oh, man.
There's no easy ones there.
And we've been informed that they have not been able to start the Texas Tech-Oklahoma game as of yet, by the way, due to a weather delay. No weather delaying things here today. It was a crisp 42-degree morning when we got it started. Strong north wind has played a factor in the game. Next up for Iowa State as we move into the final minute of the game at Kansas State. They've got a home game with TCU. Oklahoma, Kansas, and West Virginia will complete the remaining 5 games on their schedule. They'd have to run the table for bowl eligibility this year.
Well, last week, Paul Rhodes was thinking about Oklahoma State before the game ended at Waco, trying to figure out how he was going to get his team back up after a 71-7 defeat. See what he can do here today to get this team back to playing better football next week.
They'll fall to 1-6, and they are 0-4 in the Big 12. And Oklahoma State 6-1 and 3-1 in Big 12 play once this thing goes final here in just a few seconds. And as you saw, bowl eligible for another year under Mike Gundy. They're one of only 5 teams in the nation to win a bowl game in the last 3 seasons. Desmond Roland, 4 touchdowns and over 200 yards today. 58-27 quick thought Baldy on this Oklahoma State win.
Well, on a day where the wind was howling and affecting everything you did in the air with, it was nice to be able to hand the ball off to Roland, who got a chance to start today and really took full advantage of all of his opportunities.
Final score at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames. Oklahoma State 58, Iowa State 27. Don't forget to join us next Saturday at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific for a Conference USA matchup as Middle Tennessee visits UAB. For Brian Baldinger and J.C. Pearson and our great crew here in Ames, Iowa, I'm Mark Followell. You've been watching Fox College Football on Fox Sports Networks.